It is a Football Friday. We appreciate each and every single one of you coming aboard here as we move in to the land of big sales, and that is the land of content. You got to love it, my friends. Okay? You absolutely have to love it. We move into the land of content. Hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. And we started off with, I always tell you, they listen. And they listen. And I mean the Eagles. Every single person that we are engaged with and we talk to all the time, we get great feedback from people, and they all say this. We listen to the program. So I made a comment yesterday about Jason Kelce calling A.J. Brown soft. Let me get to his little retort in what he ended up saying back and how he was like, again, I don't get these Bob Lang walkbacks. Jason Kelce made a comment about A.J. Brown, and it was right. But again, then you get the organization making Jason Kelce walk it back. He basically, in theory, like we said, he called him soft. He said that he lets outside noise affect his play. Okay? And he's not wrong. So here's the initial conversation he had. On perceived lack of effort. This is off of WIP. We brought this up yesterday. And actually, nobody else brought it up, and we did. Okay? So he said he's just unfortunately a player who allows his internal frustrations to manifest into his play, and it makes him play worse, and it makes the offense worse. I don't think you can be any more clear than this, and I don't think you need to be any clearer on what you meant. The guy's mentally weak. Referencing A.J. Brown. So he comes out with a Nick Sirianni word salad comment. It seems people are taking this as a dig on A.J. How the fuck would you not take that as a dig at A.J.? Think about what the guy just said. He just, unfortunately, is a player who allows his internal frustrations to manifest into his play, and it makes him play worse and makes the offense worse, okay? It seems people are taking this as a dig on A.J. Jason, either you're going to be a media guy and hold to your guns, or you're going to be a fucking marshmallow. Jason Kelce is not a very good media guy right now. If you make a point, my daughter said this years ago to me, if you have a topic or you have an opinion, be prepared to have it challenged. Dude, you're not going to make everybody happy being a media guy. This is why we have few friends. I don't sit around fucking figuring out whether or not you like me or not with a topic, which wasn't really the intent of the purpose. And I didn't mean it on the response. And you're like, what are you talking about? It was apparent that AJ was frustrated, and it's apparent that I'm not even going to go fucking into it. Jason Kelce is a poor media guy. He's not very good at his job. Do you know, when you have an opinion, why do you think we get so much heat over the years? Because I don't walk back my takes. When I was wrong about the Philadelphia Eagles in 24, I don't fucking walk that back. When I'm right, like I was in 22, 23, and 25, I hold to my convictions. I mean, it makes no sense. Bro, you're not a very good media guy. He's a goofball. He's not very good. You know why? Dude, if I have an opinion that Jalen Hurts is a limited quarterback, I am not coming off that because I do believe that. Well, I didn't mean to hurt AJ's feelings. Hey, dude, you're going to hurt. I'll tell you this. Troy Aikman had to go through this, and Troy said the most difficult thing about being a guy who's an analyst that's in the booth, he said this was criticizing my friends. Do you know that when we first got into this, that was one of the things, too, that bugged me because you had to be critical of some of the things that you were going to say. Like when I say shit about Vinny Testaverde, and this was years and years ago, I love Vinny to death. I think Vinny Testaverde was kind of like Trevor Lawrence. Spectacular talent, one of the greatest talents you'll ever see in your entire life. Did he fulfill his destiny as a quarterback that was going to go on to be one of the elite guys in the history of the sport? No. No, he didn't. He failed. Still threw for 47,000 yards. More touchdowns than picks. Did Vinny ever really turn out to be that guy? No, he didn't. Okay? Yeah, hey, win 5 titles, then come call me, douchebag. Stick with Temple. Stick with Temple, guy. Yeah, by the way, Temple's got a hell of a lacrosse team from what I hear. I'll talk football and college football here. Anybody in Philly talking college football, kind of a joke. Dude was crying on my team's channel, youngest fan, about his own self and said drop him from your fantasy team. Okay? Okay? Sills don't play about the yo. No, I don't. Yeah. No, I don't. What up, Big Sills? Hope you have a good day and weekend. You too, my friend. We're going to get into the topic. Hey, Jason, you really got a little bit upset because Big Sills called you out because you called AJ soft? Well, geez, I'm really disappointed that you would quiet like that. I think Jason Kelce is soft. He is a mentally soft guy. For a guy that was as tough as he was as a player, he's a weak media guy. Just not very good. Hey, he's a great personality. But as a guy with a take, he stinks. That guy is, he may change. He may. Says, I'll be honest, AJ seems like a big problem the way Pickens was with the Steelers. What do you think? I don't know if it's over the line like that, Anthony. Not yet. I don't believe that. Just you think they will take Lomo the way the offense is taking their new approach? Maybe. Okay? Maybe. Oh, wait a minute. So now people are going to start going in on Miami so that I'll notice you? Don't worry, kiddies. Big Cell's got the game. I got you here. AJ Brown weak, huh? You all must be watching someone different than I am. I didn't say it, asshole. Kelce did. He's the one that referenced it, not me. Once again, I wasn't the one that said it. Your boy said it. The guy who was rooting for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl against you when you were playing the Chiefs 2 years ago. That dude, honey. He was the guy that said it. AJ weak, huh? Yeah, you better go call your boyfriend up, Jason Kelce. That's the guy that said it. Here, I'll read it to you again there, sweetheart. He's just, unfortunately, a player who allows his internal frustrations to manifest into his play. Manifest? Okay. It makes him play worse and makes the offense worse. Quote, Jason Kelce. Not me, honey. Yeah, not me. Yeah, well, he was rooting against you. Hey, Dortwat, I don't want you to get upset if I say anything negative about somebody because I want Bob Lang to come calling in and doing the Bob Lang walk. You know what the Bob Lang walk is? You guys want to see the Bob Lang walk? If you work for the Eagles, you want to see the Bob Lang walk? It's like moonwalking. Well, hey, Z, here's the Bob Lang walk. Here, right here. I'm doing the back. What's going on over here? Let's do the back walk there. How you doing? That's the Bob Lang walk. You got to walk that shit back every time, huh, Bob? You are such a bum. Holy cow. Bob Lang, the PR director for the Philadelphia Eagles, is a bum. And everyone knows he's a bum. And everyone knows in the media, but they don't want to say it. He's a creep. Let's call up bosses. Hey, Jason, we're trying to keep AJ here. Can you do me a favor? Not upset him? Because you know how he is. Oh, yeah, I better get on social media, and I better make this right. Oh, yeah, I didn't mean any of that shit. Hey, how you doing? Still, should Sirianni be on the hot seat next season? Sirianni's on the hot seat every week. He's on the hot seat every week. Doing the Bob Lang back step. Hey, I think this guy here, we got to play harder. We're not very clued in right now and plugged into our team. I want to reiterate, I didn't mean anything negative towards anybody on my team. Dude, it's like the back step. It's like the moonwalk. I mean, Sills has roasted people this afternoon like Xander. God, it's my boy. Hot, his ass is burning up. You kidding me? Right. What are we talking about here? Jason Kelce, I didn't really mean to say anything that would hurt AJ's feelings. Since when does feelings come into playing football or how you build a football team? Wow. Philly, Jason Kelce represents you. He's a worm. Dude, as a football player, he was fabulous. As a media guy, he stinks. If you have a take, don't suck, like Jim Rome used to say. Good grief. Hey, just because you played football, that don't mean you're going to be good in the media. Just because you played football doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. They're two different things. I mean, dude, that guy played. You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to do what A-Rod did. He's trying to appease both sides. Do you like me? Hey, what do I have to do? Like when he went to Katie Couric, A-Rod, what do I have to do for people to like me? You know what? Do you know what? The best advice I ever give a guy getting into media, don't give a fuck what people think about you and your takes. Because when you start caring, that's when you're not going to be good, because you got to have an opinion. There's got to be some conviction in your opinions. Okay? And that's why you're here all the day. And that's why this guy's here 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, 20 hours a day. It's because we suck. Hey, M. Reyes, get this. We suck so bad for M. Reyes that he's here 20 hours a day. Okay? 5 days a week. But I suck so bad that he's here 2, 4, 6, 8. He's here 80 hours a month because we suck so bad. Bro, thank you. I'm very happy I blow that bad to you. That you're here, let's see, over 10 months, 800 hours, and almost 10,000 hours a year that you're here watching my show for 4 hours. And then my post and pregame shows. Man, do we suck. Gotcha. Got it. Cool. Let's move on with my boy M. Reyes here. How you doing? Just saying. Hey, Des, I suck so bad he's here. He's here 80 hours a month. What do you want me to say? Okay? All right? Right? Yeah. I've got like 1.4K hours logged from last year. Dude. Yeah, okay. Well, the math don't add up. Okay? How about this? Let's go here. This is one of my favorite topics that I've ever had in Philadelphia Eagle land. Are you ready? Okay? Be easy on Reyes, Sills. He dips his Oreos in water because his dad never came home with milk. Sills, could Mike Evans help this offense? Mike Evans will help any offense. Okay, he will. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, let's see. That's 80 hours a week. Oh, yeah, you're right. 80. Here, let me do the math. I'll do the math. 80 hours a week. That's 160 for 2. Over a month, that's 320 hours a month. Very good. You're right. It's more. It's worse than I thought. So it's 320 hours a month that M. Reyes is on. So let's see, over 10 months. Woo, baby. Now we're really cooking. 3,200 hours over 10 months. And over the extra 2, that's an extra 64. So that's 34. Look at that there. 64. This guy's on 10,000 hours a year. Damn. And we suck so bad. Woo, baby. How you doing? All right. So let's do this, my friends. Let's push the quarterback a little bit. Okay? Let's do it. Should the Eagles draft a quarterback? Pressure hurts. Let me get that Jeremy Fowler thing up that somebody sent me earlier. So let me go here. Jeremy Fowler. Where is it here? Jeremy Fowler. Here it is. One question around the league is, do the Eagles draft a quarterback maybe in day 2? That's the 3rd round. That's the 2nd round. To apply a little pressure on Jalen Hurts, who I believe, here's the quote of the whole getup, who I believe is at a crossroads right now. Let me hook you up with something, freaks. Okay? Let me hook you up with something here. Jeremy Fowler got that from somebody. And you know where he could have got that from? Numerous places. Where could Jeremy Fowler got this line here? Okay? Where could he have gotten this line? Who I believe is at a crossroads right now in his career. Where do you think he got that line from? Bob Lang? Okay. Where else? Jeffrey Lurie? Fair enough. I doubt the owner. Okay. Kelce? No. Where else? Come on, guys. So Bob Lang, I completely agree. He probably called Bob Lang to confirm. Where do you think Howie Roseman? Not directly. I'll give you one more minute. Where do you think Jeremy Fowler got that from? Where do you think he got that from? Okay. Kyle, anybody? How many people did the Eagles interview or have an interest in when it came to the offensive coordinator? Was it 18? Mike McDaniel? Brian Dable? I know they talked to Kevin Stefanski before he got the Falcons job. Okay. Who else was in that? Todd Monken. I know they talked to Todd Monken. That doesn't mean they offered. So all those guys had a conversation to some extent, some lengthy, some not, what was probably the main center of topic? You know what it was? Jalen Hurts. What do you want me to do with Jalen Hurts? And right now, the owner or the head coach or the GM or the kid probably went down this lane and said, we're at a crossroads because we're changing the offense. They got that from the interviews. And people, these guys like Jeremy Fowler and Adam Schefter, they talk to the GMs, but they talk more to the agents. Why do you talk more to the agents? Guys, how many times do you hear a story or you see a story that gets posted and you see numbers for a player's contract? The organizations aren't doing that. It's got to go through New York City legally. Like the organization, they can't post anything about a player that they've offered a contract to. So where do they get those 3 years, $100 million from? They get them from the agents. They'll call Drew Rosenhaus. Hey, Drew, what's up with the interview process of the Eagles going through all these OCs and quarterback coaches and now O-line coaches? Well, they're at a crossroads with the – dude, do you know everyone's got a talking point line? I think the Philadelphia Eagles, inside the organization, that's their terminology. Hurts is at a crossroads. Xander was right this morning. I thought he phrased it kind of odd. Xander, the Eagles use that term. That's where they got that from. That's where Jeremy Fowler got that from agents of the OCs that had been interviewing for those jobs on the Philadelphia Eagles. They got it when you talk to Mike McDaniel, when they were talking to him, they were probably saying, look, we're going to change the offense. Quarterback's going to be in a crossroads here a little bit on whether or not he can pick up the system, and we're at a crossroads with our offense. Now, they may not have said it directly that Hurts is in the crossroads. They may have said that our offensive approach is going through a crossroads right now, going from the style of running the ball to wanting to throw more. That's an Eagle thing. They're going to draft a quarterback. There is no doubt. And I got to tell you, I won't be shocked if they draft a quarterback in the third round. And if they draft a quarterback in the third round, they're putting heat on Hurts. I'll make this point to you. And get this, all of you, M. Reyes included. If they don't draft a quarterback in the third round, call me out on it, and I'll go, you guys were right. You know what? I'll give myself a little latitude. Third or fourth round. If they draft a quarterback in the third or fourth round, they're beginning to put heat on Hurts. Personally, I think there's dog shit dudes. Here's something else to think. They may sign somebody instead of drafting somebody. Why would you put heat on Jalen Hurts? Where do you think this story came from? Somebody made it up? This is the Eagles doing this. They're beginning the process to move off of Hurts. If he can't evolve into this offense, I told you, firing Nick, I don't believe it. I think if this fails, I'm going to make a statement here. If this fails, they're not firing Nick. Why would they? The quarterback failed again when it came to trying to throw the ball. You're going to fire the entire fucking coaching staff in 6 months from now or 7 months from now? Make that make sense to me. How does that make sense? Sills, who would be 5 quarterbacks in the draft that could run this style of offense? Keep the kid from Arkansas is that guy. Tell me this. How does this make sense? Boy, I'll tell you, this has been, without a doubt, one of the most convoluted and craziest off seasons I've ever seen for a team. I did the same shit this morning with the Buccaneers. The Bucs got 12 new coaches on their staff. The only freaking guy they didn't fire was Bowles. I mean, the only guy they didn't fire is Bowles. You know what that tells me? Bowles, Baker, and the GM are all tied into this. Like, they all got anchor weights. It might work. I don't believe it will. I think they're going down with the ship. And they're going to have a completely new entire organization next year. You watch. The Bucs are heading the other way. They're not trending up. Okay? This doesn't, get this, folks. This is not made up. This is not made up. If Jalen got the ball out on time consistently, which he never has, the wide receiver wouldn't be giving up on routes. Rasputin, he can't throw on time. He's never thrown on time. Stop saying something he's never done. He throws behind Devontae. Get this. This offseason sucks. These are conspiracy theories. So wait a minute. A guy like Jeremy Fowler, who's not a jock, he's not a shock jock. He's a guy who's built his reputation on being pretty factual. You think it's a conspiracy theory. I'll tell you what, Prince. You'll be able to put that theory. Let's see. Let me do this here. Prince, I'll tell you what. We'll be able to put this to theory here in how many days? How many days until the NFL draft, April 23rd? You got 69 days to see if that's true or not. That's why you're here every day. If it's true, Jalen doesn't want to run the ball. If Jalen doesn't want to run the ball, he's a mediocre quarterback. So the Eagles don't draft a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. Then what? You turn into a pumpkin? Agreed, Paul. A.J. was weak this season. Yeah, but again, Jason Kelce walking that bullshit back. Hey, we're going to do... You know what we're going to do today, too? I forgot to tell you. So Xander's going to join us at 3:30. We will have Mike North at 4:30. And then at 5:30, we're bringing Mark Trestman on. And because some of you are not very intelligent in here, like M. Reyes and some of you other guys that don't understand West Coast offense, we're going to ask a guy. Let's see here. I want to double check here on something on Mark Trestman. So let's see here. Mark Trestman. So Coach Trestman will join us at 5:30. And let's take a look here. Mark Trestman, American head football coach with the Chicago Bears. He was also, let's see here, NCAA, was at the University of Miami. That's right. And let's go down the list here. Mark Trestman. In 1985, the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator for the 49ers. And that capacity in 96, the first year he was in San Francisco, they led the league in points at 457 points, 5,000 passing yards. He also went to Detroit, where I was there. He became the quarterback coach there and offensive coordinator there. Let's see here, too. I mean, this guy's legendary. Here, how many offensive coordinator jobs has he had? So he's been a quarterback coach in Miami. He's been a quarterback coach in Tampa. He's been an offensive coordinator, quarterback coach in Cleveland. He's been the quarterback coach in Minnesota. He's been an offensive coordinator in San Francisco and quarterback coach. He was the offensive coordinator in Detroit. He was the offensive coordinator in Arizona. He was the offensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins again. He was the offensive coordinator in the Oakland Raiders. He was the offensive coordinator with the New Orleans Saints. He was the offensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens. and he was the head football coach of Chicago Bears. So I'm assuming with all these coordinating jobs, he kind of knows what he's talking about. And he's had massive success coaching people like Steve Young and other players. So he will join us at 5:30. And we will ask him, how do you go from a West Coast? You know what Mark says? There is no West Coast anymore. There's variations of it. Just so you know. He goes, there's no traditional West Coast in today's NFL. Nobody runs a traditional West Coast. So this is maybe what you guys have been talking about. What variation are they going to run? There's no Bill Walsh West Coast in today's league. Nobody runs it. He said the closest is Detroit that runs it, okay? Hurts will run when it's time to get paid again. Well, he's making 50 now. AJ had 1K yards with Ryan Tannehill. What's that tell you? So let me. That's a great point, Rasputin. So AJ Brown had 1,000 yards and 1,100 yards with Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. This last year, he had 1,000 yards with Jalen Hurts. Ryan Tannehill, Jalen Hurts. Sure, looks the same to me too. Right. Seals, do you think they're working on a Hurts restructure? No, I do not. Nobody's restructuring a guy who's 28th or 25th in passing. Your fucking mind. Did Hurts not want to run, or did the Hurts didn't? Michael, I would say this to you, Michael. A little of both. A little of both. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you. Arch, Levitt, Mensa, Sorsby, Trinidad, CJ. Those kids are going to be in the next draft in 27. Right, Nick? Mensa for Miami. Arch, Levitt, Trinidad, CJ, Carr, kid from Bama, Sayan, Dante Moore, and the South Carolina kid Sellers, who I love. I think that kid Sellers plays like Cam Newton. I think that kid Sellers, he was spectacular in the opener. Then he got banged up and hurt. I think that kid has got great talent. And I think he's one of the more talented players in college football. And I'm glad he went back to South Carolina. Okay? Let's see here. Embrace, you don't even know who the fuck I'm talking about. Restructured to reduce cap hit and make him tradable in 27. My point, give Hurts this year and draft one next year. Okay, Nick. All right. The owner is bored with this offense. Dude, every time I hear that, I don't believe that with Jeffrey Lurie. He's bored with what? Winning? So wait a minute. If I have something that is working and going great, I'm going to change it so it'll look better and I have less results? Billionaires don't act like that, my friends. Hey, guess what? Let me, I want to make it more appealing to the eye. I know she cheats on me, but she's really great looking. So I'm going to leave my old lady of 35 years. Not fucking me. Why would I do that? Hey, wow, she's really appealing to the eye. Wow, what a great body. Unbelievable. She's not loyal at all. Well, thank you. I got no interest in that. I have zero interest in that. Dude, you got to have loyalty and you got to have continuity. You got to be loyal to what you're doing. The kid saying from Ohio State, he stinks. He's not very good. I don't think he's very good. I think the kid's like not good in the pocket. Miami rushed his ass and put him on their back. I didn't think he was good at all. I've been saying this all year. We don't actually know what the offense is going to look like. We're all speculating. You're stuck on the textbook definition of West Coast offense. Okay, well, there's no doubt. But the one thing I'm not stuck, the one thing I am still stuck on is his inability to be a passer from the pocket. I know that you think that all of a sudden, like you guys were telling me 2 years ago, the reason we didn't pass is because we didn't have to because we had a great run game. No. The reason you didn't pass and weren't balanced during your Super Bowl year, because your quarterback can't. That's become a fact now. When the running game went away, Hurts was asked to elevate the pass game. He couldn't. You could text that up any way you want, Prince. That turned out to be facts. Sills, any chance Gardner Johnson comes back with Parker moving on? Or is it a wrap with him in Philly? Time to move on, dude. Dude, I like the kid. I think the kid's a good ball player, and I think he's a winner. All right? I don't have a problem with him. I absolutely don't. But for some reason, they had a problem in the room with him. He's a loud dude. The Eagles don't like loud people. Look at A.J. They're shitting on him behind the scenes. Look at what you guys are talking. Gardner Johnson's loud. Jason Kelce was loud a couple days or the other day on the radio. Isn't that crazy? So Jason Kelce can't even go on WIP and speak the truth. This is why shows like this are important to you. You know why? Jason Kelce couldn't go on the flagship station of the Eagles and tell the truth. He had to walk it back because the Eagles didn't like the way Jason Kelce made A.J. Brown look and made that the coaches couldn't handle him. I think it was more that the coaches and Nick couldn't handle him. I said it all year to you. How many times did I ask Xander? How many times did I ask him, how do you think Nick's handling A.J.? That's an indictment on A.J. Brown and Nick's relationship. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't want to have Nick look like he doesn't have control of his players. That's an indictment on Nick. Nick is not a fucking answer guy. He never will be. Don't you see, when any conflict pops up, he has no answers. You want to give him credit for the wins, okay? What, because you have good players? How about when shit hits the fan? How about this? Nick's great when things are great. Is Nick good when shit is bad? Yes or no? Nick is wonderful. Hey, listen, let's pretend you want to give Nick all the credit in the world for the wins. Xander's saying to me yesterday, Nick doesn't get any credit. So let's be consistent here. And let's see if we can be consistent here with Nick. Can't be because Nick's not consistent. So you tell me, when shit's going well, that's Nick in some people's eyes. When shit goes sideways, that's Nick too, right? Can you run an organization and have a leader and a businessman and a guy running your company, when emotions get too high, he shits the bed, but when things are going great, he's cool? You know what that's called? A front runner. Nick's a front runner. He has no answers. He has zero answers. Get Kelce. Kelce's not coming on it. He's not going to. He can't. Those people can't come on this program. Okay? All right. Okay? Sills, you're right. However, Sirianni's just a figurehead. Okay? I know this. You can't push that past. Okay, look, like I said, you know what's funny? I hear people over in WIP and everyone going, Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat. Well, shit. When I say he's on the hot seat, People go like this to me. So you don't give him credit for the wins? Wins? Fuck, he's on the hot seat going into 26. How did he get on the hot seat? He won 11 games. How did he go in the hot seat? 18 months? 18? Not 18. Fuck, 12 months ago, he won a Super Bowl. He's on the hot seat? Okay. Dude, make that make sense. Sure. Let me see here a little bit. Worked with Vrabel. Why didn't Mike keep him? Why didn't Mike keep him? Okay, so he's been a coach since 15. So I think that goes back to Bill. He was a coaching assistant. I think he got a coaching job with Belichick. Because he's been in the organization, or he was in the organization in 15. So that's with Bill, I believe. Cornerback coach in 19 and 24. Bill's nickel coach this past year. Now he's the new defensive backs coach. That's what it's listed as here with the Eagles. Coached the nickels with Bills and was in New England with Bill. Okay. He's a young kid. He's 32. Boy, are they making a transition to youth. And that coaching staff. You think they're hiring all these young guys and they're going to fire them if this doesn't work? Man, you'll have a complete overhaul of your football team if this fails. Okay? No, Sills, you guys said our offensive line doesn't fit a West Coast offense. Correct. Same with our wide receiver and running back. So you're saying the Eagles don't already know that. This isn't about Jalen. This is completely about Jalen. The quarterback doesn't fit either. You missed that one, Prince. If you're going to go to a passing offense, you think your fucking quarterback fits to that? Based on what? His high volume passing? His way of reading defenses, the way he dissects a game like Phillip Rivers? Based on what? Notice how conveniently he left out the quarterback. This isn't, get this, our O-line doesn't fit, a running back doesn't fit, but the quarterback, he fits? Sure. There's a youth movement now. They're transitioning. Okay? See, and that's where that could be, and it worked. Okay? Based on 2 years before we got Saquon, I'm not sure what, as usual, left field conversations, or three conversations, or 3 days behind. Seals, is there anything that should keep me from wanting Nick fired? Because I saw this fakeness his rookie year with the rock, paper, scissors. He's a goofball, but that's okay. Mike McDaniel's a goofball. And he's a quality coach. Okay? I don't mind goofball. It's okay. Goofball is all right. As long as you're productive. Uniqueness and all that shit. Hey, folks, not everybody's going to be like what you want. So you got to coach around that. I mean, the worst thing you can do. See, Dean Smith, you know why Dean Smith didn't win multiple national championships in college basketball? Why do you guys think, hey, M. Reyes, stop talking about 22. 4 years ago. It's 4 years ago. And get this. He wasn't that great a passer in 22. What did he throw for? 3,200 yards? A fucking break. This guy's high. Hurts dissects the game like Reyes dissects UCLs. Yeah. And Becton doesn't fit. He doesn't. He completely does not. Here, do you know why Dean Smith didn't win multiple or more national championships? I think Dean Smith won 2. Okay? Why do you guys think? You know what he said? I recruit people with the same personalities as me. Makes it easier for me to coach. So that means if you have a guy who may be a guy like Allen Iverson or somebody like that, you don't want to coach Allen Iverson? Well, that's a coaching flaw. I think coaches have to coach all types of personalities because you pigeonhole yourself into a certain type of player. I think you have to coach all personalities. Tough ones, easy ones. That's what made Jimmy great. You had Troy Aikman, you had Emmitt Smith, and you had Michael Irvin. 3 completely different personalities. Okay? 3 completely. Prince, do you believe, Prince, that Jalen Hurts is an elite passer from the pocket? Yes or no? Prince, do you think he is? Watch this, folks. Prince, do you think Hurts is an elite passer from the pocket? Do you believe that? Do you believe that he's an elite passer? Can't wait to see this. Do you think he's an elite passer? I just say, Emrez, do you think that he is an elite passer from the pocket? Okay. I don't know. 7 years in, and I don't know. My man, Big Sills, get it as numb. He's a doty. He is without a doubt the biggest home job I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy. You know, babies, NJ Fishing Maniac, you're my boy. You know, babies wear bibs. This guy's got a bib that says Eagles on it. You got to make sure you don't drip anything on your chest. You got to have a bib. It says Howie and it says Nick. It has Jalen. And it's got Eagles there. It's like a bib. And this guy, every time he comes to the show, he comes to the show with a bib on. I'm getting shit on my chest. I'm getting eagle on my chest. I got to get an eagle off my chest. Hold on here. Got to get eagle off my chest. Yeah. What are you, Jason Kelce? Stop moaning and crying. So let me finish the point here on. Dean Smith. Guys, you got to coach everybody. So here, this is the point that I was making with Prince. Right? Jalen. Nick. Saquon. I can't get enough of that, man. All good there, Junior. Dan, name all 3 elite passers from the pocket today. All right, good call. Let's see who I think is really good from the pocket. Let's see here. Let's go pocket passers who are really good from the pocket. Let's see here. Who I think are really good in the NFL from the pocket. Stafford, Goff, Dak. Lawrence. Shit, Darnold's good from the pocket. Caleb is not. Justin Herbert. Josh Allen. Mahomes. Love. Rodgers. Pass over Hurts. Geno's decent from the pocket. Lamar is at times. Tyler Shook is decent from the pocket. Mac Jones and Purdy are great from the pocket. Burrow. Those guys are all good from the pocket. All good from the pocket in today's NFL. Yes. I mean, yes. By the way, I guarantee you, with this new changing, they'd rather have Dak Prescott as a quarterback than Hurts. Stafford, Goff, Dak, Herbert, Burrow, Purdy, all good from the pocket. Those are good selections. Cousins is good from the pocket. Hey, Jacoby Brissett had a better year than Jalen did. What would have been a better way forward for the team after Patullo was fired? I would have kept Kevin Patullo. I would have brought him back. Why don't you try developing a coordinator one day? How about trying that? Instead of using them as a scapegoats, why don't you try developing people? Isn't it funny the Eagles don't develop coaches? The only place they develop them is on defense. Nobody in a million years. You got everybody's leftovers. Name me one guy people were coveting that you hired. Can you? Who, that fucking O-line coach that got blown out in Minnesota? That DB coach you just hired? We're like, how many days? What was the last day of the league? Hey, Kyle, how many days since the last game of the season? What was the date of the last game of the regular season? Anybody know? Anybody know what the last date was? You guys hired everyone's leftovers. There's not one dude you hired where everybody was coveting. Well, let me hire Sean Mannion. There's no way that guy was on anybody's list. Hey, let me ask you this. How about this? Do you think Sean Mannion would have got a job as an offensive coordinator if the Eagles didn't hire him? Yes or no? December 11th wasn't the last game. They played on Christmas. Okay, January 4th. Let me see here. January 4th. How many days has it been since January 4th? Okay, it's been 40 days since the last regular season game in the NFL. Okay? January 4th. And in 40 days, the Philadelphia Eagles have hired this staff on offense. Does anybody think that Sean Mannion would have been hired as an offensive coordinator if the Eagles didn't? The answer is no. Do you think Chris Cooper would have been hired as an offensive line coach if the Eagles didn't hire him? The answer is no. These are the last dudes left. I don't really think they even knew Stoutland was leaving. There's not one guy on that staff anybody was going, I got to have that guy. You know the only guy maybe they hired? Maybe Josh Grizzard. Maybe Grizzard would have been like the only dude. You didn't hire anybody wanted. Like who? If they would have went into this season with the same offensive coordinator, you would have had jumped all over the Eagles for that. No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. Not if you're not going to change anything. Now, since you're going to change things, okay, you're going to start passing the ball more? Kevin Patullo doesn't make sense. But if you were going to run the ball and run it back, he made sense. Why not keep continuity? You think there's any reason, Angelo, that the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you think constant change is good? I don't. Get this, guys. Not one coach you hired so far was wanted by any coaching staff. Not one guy. Did I tell you something? Not one dude. It was 40 days. All the jobs have been filled. Every single job has been. When you named Sean Mannion as offensive coordinator, there was like one job left, and it was the Browns, and it was the Raiders. They weren't hiring him. One guy. When the Eagles hired Andy Reid, everybody made fun of the hire too. Andy Reid worked with Mike Holmgren as the quarterback coach in Green Bay for 7 years. And he had worked with Favre. And he was working. I think when he was there, I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers was drafted out of Cal yet. I'm not sure of that. Okay, Angelo. So what? You think fucking Sean Mannion is going to be the next Andy Reid? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Why, the Eagles are different. They will change on you in a second. Just win. There's a point in me that doesn't hate that. Okay? There's a part of me that, okay, I'll tell you what. Who wanted Sirianni as a head coach? RC3. All of your offensive coaches were not wanted by anybody that you just hired. It was 40 days after the fact. I get one guy could be like, okay, all of them? Like, they just hired this guy for DB coach, Pellegrino. There were 10 job openings. How many coordinating jobs? How many jobs in the NFL were? There were like 50 job openings. Let's leave the skies falling until the guys get a full season of coaching to see if they're trash or good. Nobody's a psychic. Well, let me tell you what I do for a living here. My job, I give opinions. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a beat writer. I don't do that bullshit. I'm a talk show host, and I have been for 36 years. This is what I do for a living. And I've got 3 jobs now. I do a morning show in Tampa on radio, and I got a Sports Grid on weekends, and of course we do this show. 4 hours. This is my main show. Okay? This is my number one show. And I've been doing this for 40 years, almost. This is what I do. I'm looking at the free agent running back. It's somewhat deep. You got Williams. Yeah, there's some good people in there. The Denver Bronco guy, too. J.K. Dobbins might make a nice guy. Sirianni's a straw man it's the straw man for the front office to give the appearance of a head coach. No. Here's the definition for me and Nick Sirianni. Shit, man, when things are going good, Nick gets credit for winning. When shit goes bad, Nick gets credit for losing. Okay, well, guess what? He gets no credit for fixing it. You think he's fixing this? Oh, you know what? I think he is, actually. I think the front office, this looks like Nick. Because I would push back and go like this. If I was somebody in that front office, I would do this. Okay. So the Eagles, under Nick Sirianni, have been in the playoffs every fucking year. They have a 6-4 record in the postseason. They've been to 2 Super Bowls and they've won 1. And we're changing. Why? Okay. I feel this offense has gone as far as it can go. Isn't that code for I think this quarterback has gone as far as he can go? You're missing the point, guys. They're telling you this is as far as they think the quarterback can go. How many people believe that take? That they believe this is as far as the quarterback can go. Right here. Because if you're changing everything, the last thing to change is the quarterback, isn't it? It's not the fucking coach. You're changing everything away from the quarterback's skill. Am I wrong? Everything he does well. I'm telling you, I think the team is telling you right now that Jalen Hurts is taking this team as far as he can go. He's going into year 7. I said this was a 9-year deal. This was not going to be any more than that. This guy's not going to be a starting quarterback in 9 years. Here in Philly, 2 more years? No way. No way. No way. Absolutely. Trade Hurts. You would get the same or better production out of some guy like Malik Willis and not have to spend $50 million. Good call, because I just saw it in the Super Bowl. You don't need a $50 million quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Okay? Sills, maybe the front office still consolidating power by not getting big-name influential coaches. They rely on talent, nurturing coaches to get the job done. Chip Kelly scared the front office. Could be. That's not a terrible take, Jimbo. Awful take? Yeah, because it doesn't fit your narrative that your quarterback is taking the team as far as it can go. Get this. At the end of the day, a lot of people aren't going to like that take. So wait a minute. Let me ask you this. Isn't this funny, guys? Isn't this funny? The organization thinks this offense has gone as far as it can go. Well, who was the leader of the offense? Was the quarterback. So now you're going to invent the quarterback in his 7th year into somebody else? Yeah, that's right, because that always works. That's like trying to reinvent Patrick Mahomes into something he's not. Or like Matthew Stafford into a running quarterback at 37. Fucking stupid. Think about that for a minute. They changed everything out because they know that this offense can't go any further. So what you're saying to me is that the quarterback's going to evolve into something completely different. Never in a million years. Never happen. No way. What if the Eagles trade Tanner, sign Malik Willis to the backup, put pressure on Hurts? I asked the question. By the way, we made the comment. Jeremy Fowler's just not throwing shit out there like that. Here's a guy that makes a ton of sense, not the rest of these knee draggers. Stills, I do not disagree that Hurts might be tapped out, but every time things get tough, they revert back. Do you believe that this team has pushed Jalen to work through his issues? I don't think he can work through his issues. They know that, or they would have. Bob, how many times are you going to keep driving that round peg into a square hole? You tried it in 24, it failed. You tried it in 23, it failed. This team doesn't want turnovers, and every time they up his volume, he fails. Let me ask you this, Bob. Am I right when I say this? Since he's been a quarterback in Philly, when they have upped that volume, his turnovers go up higher than what we would expect. Like I said, if a guy throws the ball 600 times and he has 10 to 12 picks, you live with that because of the volume of passing. It's common sense. If you throw the ball 340 times and a guy's got 6 interceptions, okay? If a guy throws the ball 620 times and he's got 12 picks, that's normal. That's common. The volume is higher. You're expecting more tipped passes, maybe some late throws. You're going to see more turnovers. But the fumbles and the turnovers it was 32 turnovers in 21 games. Okay? Do you think that's a high number? Seals, what about the Super Bowl? He's played his best games in the playoffs and Super Bowls. Nobody said he sucks. Who said he sucked? Do I think he's got an intangible of playing in really good moments? Yeah. Can he play consistent like that? No, he never has. I saw Sam Darnold play a Jalen Hurts game on Sunday. He played a Jalen Hurts game. Didn't have to do anything crazy. Protected the football. Made some throws on third down. Ran the ball 135 yards for Kid Walker. They won a Super Bowl. They played Eagle football. They didn't do anything exceptional. I mean, what did they do exceptional? By the way, Z's going to join us at 3:30. We're going to have Mike North at 4:30, and we're going to have a guy who creates offenses. He's had numerous offensive coordinating jobs. He's been a head coach in National Football League. Mark Trestman will join us at 5:30. We're going to get his thoughts on some of the issues the Eagles are going to have moving to a new type of offense. A guy who builds offenses. You don't have to listen to me. Listen to a guy who built them for over 25 years in the NFL. He's had at least 15 coordinating jobs in pro football. You can listen to him. I'd agree with that take if they were doing everything possible to get the best out of the quarterback. Prince, you're assuming that they want to get the best out of the quarterback. They have stereotyped him. Prince, let me ask you this. But that hasn't been the case. So are they actually building around the quarterback to help him? Listen, that could be. I can't dispute that. So Prince, okay, let's go here with what he said at the beginning here. This is not shitty. I'd agree with that take if they were doing everything possible to get the best out of the quarterback. Okay. These recent hires, in your opinion, do you really believe that they're bringing in this new coaching staff to get the best out of Jalen Hurts? Or are they building a system like Michael Irvin? Prince, I don't know if you were in here when Michael was in here. Some coaches like Nick do this. He was making the comparisons between Norv Turner. I'm sure you know the name Norv Turner. And Chan Gailey. Okay? I'm telling you, Nick's more Chan Gailey. Nick Sirianni's a Chan Gailey. He's a Chan Gailey mentality. He's not a Norv Turner. Okay? Nick believes in systems. He believes in installing systems. He thinks a system like that, now that's been a trend in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan has a way that he approaches in the passing game. He's just better with quarterbacks and play calling. Norv Turner, when Michael Irvin was on here, remember what he said? Norv had me. The passing game went through me. Whenever there was a passing game, it went through me. I was always on the field on third downs. I was always in the passing game. When Norv left and they hired Chan Gailey, Chan Gailey wasn't trying to get Michael Irvin the ball. He had a system. He said there were times I was off the field on third down. Michael looked over at Jimmy, or not Jimmy, whoever the coach was at the time, after Barry. He was looking around going, what are we doing? There's a rookie on the field instead of me? That's Nick Sirianni. Nick believes in system. AJ's bitching because the passing game doesn't go through him. There's the problem. Nick's a system guy. He believes in a system. AJ wants the offense to go through him like it did before Saquon showed up. Well, Nick's got more tools to work with, so Nick's going to build a system with Barkley, Devontae, and AJ. Why do you think sometimes AJ doesn't even get a look or a target? Because Nick has a way of putting this system in, and once the player, get this, here's the difference. If the players aren't performing and they're up to level like they were in 24, Nick's system sucks. And it's going to wobble. If you got a guy having an iconic year, you're going to hang with that part of your system. You're going to run the ball like they did in 24. When Nick had to use his system in 25, it wobbled everywhere. Because you weren't getting production out of the O-line, you weren't getting production out of the running back, and you really weren't getting production out of the wideouts. I don't care what the 1,000-yard receivers look like. At the end of the day, it became so predictable. He's the worst passer in the league throwing across the middle of the field. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to let A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have 1,000 yards receiving. Great. At the end of the day, I know what you're doing. Here, ask yourself this question, guys. Why in the world would you change off of an offense that you had two 1,000-yard receivers for the second time in 3 years? Ask yourself that question. And a 1,000-yard back, a back who's gained 3,000 yards in 2 years. Wide receivers that have been double-digit and triple-digit numbers, and you had two 1,000-yard wideouts. Why would you change that? Empty calories. Absolutely. The numbers lied. The passing attack was not very good. The entire offense wasn't very good. Think about that for a second. Empty calorie stats. How about this? You had two 1,000-yard receivers, and you had 1,100-yard back. And you changed the offense. Wow. If I'm a wide receiver, that's the second time in 3 years that we had dual 1,000-yard wideouts, and we're changing it. Why? Well, it was fool's gold. I mean, bro, did you forget what the offense looked like this year? No. But you guys were telling me about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith being superstar players. The second time in 3 years, these guys had 1,000 yards receiving. One of the very few tandems in the NFL to have one of the very few teams that have two players with 1,000 yards. You're changing that up? Of course I know the offense sucked. And that's why they're changing it. Thousand-yard receivers, and they changed it. That's all it needs you. That's the only thing you need to know. They looked at those two guys and went, those were stupid numbers. Those were overrated. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were overrated last year, according to their eyes. That's why they're changing everything. What else would it be? Sills, yes, turnovers go up. We just watched a quarterback lead the league in turnovers and win the Super Bowl by reverting back. They never give Jalen Hurts the chance to really fail. That's why many still believe in him. Okay? That's because you got spectacular talent on your team. Dude, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are really good football players. Saquon Barkley's a really good player. And I do believe Mulata in. I think Lane comes back to some type of good form where he's that Hall of Fame guy. I don't know so much for Landon. I don't believe Landon at all. 13 injuries and 13 surgeries. Cam Jurgens. I think you got a major problem interior. And Tyler Steen is a dude. I think the inside of your offensive line, you got handled every game. Every game from the beginning of the season to the Cowboys on that September 4th opening, you got handled inside. Both Cowboy games, they handled you. Every game I watched, shit, man, Chicago had 5 guys out, and they handled you. They completely handled the interior. From Steen over, and it affected Mulata's play. They just got handled. That's as bad offensive production that they played probably since 20. And you know why you won more games than you did when you won that 4-win season in 20? Because you had AJ and a great D. Hurts has a chance to grow with Manning in the offense. Based on what? What do you mean he has a chance to grow? This is year 7. Let me read the rest of this. Hurts says he wants to win at all costs. This is a chance to prove it. Okay. Time will tell. Doesn't matter all the restrictions or verbally say he has. Well, if I'm going to coach a guy, Big Red, I'm not going to coach a guy to what he doesn't do well. Inside rushing attack was miserable. This is why there were so many runs with negative production between the tackles. Yeah, they couldn't run the stretch play either because their inside play. There wasn't a game that they won up front, in my opinion, in the 3-man triangle. They got handled every game. Shit, who the Giants handled you. Get this, everyone in the NFC East, except maybe Washington, handled you up front. Seals, you said it best. 24 killed the O-line. 26 will be the tell-off for Hurts, Juergens, Barkley, and Sirianni. Absolutely. Hey, and by the way, if this fails too, you know who's going to be looked at in a different way? Howie Roseman. Howie gets a 2-year reprieve here, maybe 3. But if this starts falling apart and you start seeing regression and it regresses more this year, okay, going to fire the coach, you're going to blame the quarterback. Then what? Okay, Howie, rebuild. What if he can't? You think he's going to do it again a third time? Okay? I think he deserves the benefit. He's done it twice. Why not a third time? John Schneider, he built it twice. You know, he came out of the Russell Wilson. He came out of the Pete Carroll. The Patriots are the only people I've ever seen build it 3 different ways. From Parcells and Bledsoe to Brady and Belichick to now Vrabel and Drake May. That's the only time I've seen something like that. So Howie's got it. I mean, hey, look, hall pass after hall pass. All right. I'm not blaming Howie for nothing here. Nothing. I'm not even in the room. The reason we won the Super Bowl is because of Barkley and the defense. Yes. Get this, Angelo. You think this was creative coaching? When they went, well, let's run 6 plays in 24. Right power I, right power left. Some stretch plays. Go hit your head on the goalpost, Saquon. You think that's really creative coaching? Or realizing you got your personnel? I don't think you have to be a genius to go, fuck, the guy's gaining crazy yards. You think you have to be a brilliant offensive coordinator to go, hey, it's like telling me, hey, Mike, turn and shoot. Hey, Michael Jordan, go ahead, turn and shoot. You think that's good coaching? Can't argue with success. Howie has been fantastic at the team building. 3 Super Bowl appearances in 8 years with 2 different. Absolutely. That's why what I said he gets, you'd have to wait until after 27 to see what he's doing. I mean, that's 2 years from now. After the 27th year, if this thing's not on the rack and on rails right now, you'd have to go like this. Where are you going, Howie? What are we doing? But that's nowhere near there. Dude, and stop with that bullshit about getting rid of Howie. I wrote this last topic down. The impatience of the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't think that would affect Howie? You don't think the impatience of Jeffrey Lurie would affect Howie? Man, you don't know billionaires. Especially with somebody with a characteristic of like Jeffrey Lurie. This is a trend. This guy doesn't sit around and wait. He's not a guy who's going to wait and develop people. If you're not winning now, I'm not waiting. You don't think that would affect him? It affected Andy Reid. It affected Doug Peterson. Fuck, it affected Howie. He fired him. He's already fired Howie. But he wouldn't do it again? You're out of your mind. That guy has no patience. By the way, I would say this. His impatience might be ruining your quarterback. Do you ever think of that? That his impatience, with all the quarterback changes, the offensive coaching staff changes, the way that they change out all these coaches. Did you ever think that maybe his impatience is hurting Hurts' development? Or that his impatience hurt Wentz? You know, it's funny. It looks like the same shit you did to Wentz. The only difference, Hurts is mentally tougher. Hey, Bob, because you're a pretty smart guy in here. Does this look like what they did to Carson Wentz? Is this kind of what they did to Wentz? Well, Wentz is just not a tough dude. So wait a minute. Are they going to pull the same shit on Jalen they pulled on Wentz by drafting a quarterback in the second and third round to put heat on him like they did when they drafted Jalen? Jesus criminy. History repeats itself. I mean, the guy's one of the most impatient people you could possibly talk to. No? People don't think that the patience level of the owner is not a problem. I do. I think it's a massive problem. Seals, do you think that Jalen Hurts is going to be a Hall of Famer one day? As of right now, no, I don't. It's too early. We'll see. He's trending in a great place. No, that's how you become the Steelers, crowing about being a 500 team. I don't mind the turnover. There is a positive to that, Jimbo. Okay? No, they're going to give Jalen one more year. If he does bad, then they're going to move up and draft Arch. Bro, you'd have to really suck to move. Arch is going to be the number one. If he plays good in 26, he'll be the number one player take. He'd have been the number one player taken now. They'd have took him over Fernando Mendoza. He's a more talented player. Arch Manning is a better football player than Fernando Mendoza. I think Fernando Mendoza is a third-round draft choice. Maybe a fourth. I don't see special. There's a special intangible about the kid. But I don't think that guy's a first-round talent. Arch Manning's a first-round talent. Exact way you explained it, Stout, in OC had nothing to do with winning the Super Bowl. It was in turn a shoot, run the ball, 5 different plays. Probably 2017 was the same. Yeah, you know why you won a Super Bowl in 17? Hey, Big Red, before I even came here to Philly, you know what I said about that 17 team? That I will stay to this day, and you can go back in my radio show archives, and I said this about your team in 17. The Philadelphia Eagles had the best O-line and the best D-line combination of pro football that year. And there was nobody close. You beat people up front, both sides of the ball. And there was nobody close. You could have had a pigeon throwing the ball on those teams. It didn't matter. You were killing guys at the point of attack. I mean, you were just mowing dudes over and playing lights-out defense in the front seven. It's one of the best combinations you ever seen in your life. The difference between the Eagles and other organizations is that even 11 wins is viewed as a failure. We strive for greatness in Philadelphia, nothing more, nothing less. When you strive for that, though, you have to have a patience factor, don't you think? Let me ask you this, Real. What's the most patient thing they've been patient with? It's Jalen Hurts. Knowing he has deficiencies. They're not really patient with any other player on that team. They're just not. Here. They realize. What year was Devontae Smith drafted? Could somebody tell me? What year was he drafted? 21? So in 2021, did they draft Devontae Smith number 1? Did they? I'll show you in patience. They drafted Devontae, right? 21. Okay. Thank you, Shane. What did they do the following year? Does anybody know? What did they do the following year in the draft? Anybody remember? It was 10th overall. It was basically a lottery pick, a top 10 pick. A top 10 pick at wide receiver. What'd they do the following year? They traded for A.J. Brown. You know what they realized? They weren't sure Devontae would be a number 1. They went back-to-back, basically, wide receivers in 2 straight drafts and drafting a dude 10th. 10th overall. And they went the following year and they used their first-round pick for AJ. What does that tell you? Is that patience? How do you know it? Devontae's not going to turn out to be Justin Jefferson? How did you know that if you gave him more high volumes? I think he's done really well being in the 2-hole. I think he's carved a great name out for himself. But at the end of the day, the Eagles love labels, dude. And they stereotype guys. You're this, and you're this. And you can't do this, you can't do this. This is what I think you can do. They stereotype you. Look what they did to Milton Williams. They didn't think Milton Williams was going to get... Bro, if they had that all over again, don't let anybody fucking shit you. If they had that all over again, they'd figure out a way to try to make that work. They didn't think Milton or even Josh Sweat. Sweat had 12 sacks this year. Josh didn't play shitty. He actually elevated his game. He's just on a shitty team and a bad organization. Milton Williams was a force on that team this year. He was. Sills, Dan Logan, a better player than you in 87? I don't know who Dan Logan is. I've never heard of Dan Logan. Dan Logan? Who was he? What team did he play on? If you're saying he played on the Hurricanes, I've never heard of him. Dan Logan? Who's that? I don't know a Dan Logan, dude. Triggered? No. I've never heard of Dan Logan. He played for the Hurricanes? Well, I'll have to look that up. I don't remember him at the University of Miami. Dan Logan. Yeah, no. I believe Nick's system developed stunt Hurts' growth. This new offense will allow him to grow and be more helpful. Then why didn't Nick do it sooner? Then why didn't Nick do it sooner? Now I know Dan Morgan. Did the Patriots' easy schedule benefit Milton's play this season compared to Davis and Carter? You're saying playing against better opponents. Maybe a little. Playing against better teams. Can't deny it. What about, so wait, both of them played well? So Josh Sweat had 12 sacks and Milton played great for the Patriots. Both of them played well? Sills, I have a question. Should we be concerned that the Giants are going to be good this year? I'm excited for the Eagles and Giants. I think it's great for both to be good. Absolutely. I think it's great when the NFC East is great. Dude, back in the day, when the NFC East, do you know the NFC East is the only football division that every team's won a Super Bowl? Shit. Every team in the East has won multiple Super Bowls. Giants, Redskins, Eagles, Cowboys. Every single team in the NFC East has won multiple Super Bowls. I mean, it's the only division of football you could say that about. The Giants are looking scary because not of talent, but because of the personnel. You know who they have to change out? They got to get rid of that shitty GM, Joe Schoen. I don't know what it is, why a guy keeps his job, but name me one thing that he's done well. What, the contract extension for Daniel Jones? Letting Barkley walk out the building? Help me out here. So wait a minute. You know when people were saying that they should have got rid of Saquon in New York? How do you think Scatterboo and Barkley would have did in New York with Jackson Dart? How do you think that would have looked? Bad or good? Then you have Malik Neighbors. So you would have had Barkley, Scatterboo, Malik Neighbors on your offense and Jackson Dart. How do you think that would have done? How do you think that thing would have looked? Kind of, I thought the idea was to put good players around everybody. Right? It's funny. We brought that comment up yesterday about Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce called, here, before I bring Z up here. It's hilarious. Basically called him soft. That he's not a very tough player. And, of course, he had to do the Michael Jackson moonwalk. Oh, David Logan was a great player with the Bucs. Reuben Davis was a great player with the Bucs. God rest David Logan. David Logan went on to be into broadcasting. I love David Logan. He was a Pro Bowl nose guard, played with Leroy Selman. He was really a good player. Yes, he was. He was with the Buccaneers. He was a nose, number 76. He was a great football player. Absolutely. I think Z has internet issues again. I'm going to bring him up here in a second here. Okay. Bob, you have great takes here. Yes, Laurie is a big issue, but how he built it twice only to rip it down because he could not or would not adapt. We don't develop talent or coaches or sustain success. All right. Let's get to our guy here. I'll tell you this, man. Philadelphia Eagles are an organization that continually gives. You got it. Next week, am I right when I say this? 9 days from now, the Eagles are going to be at the convention. Do you know what the convention is? It's the Combines. That's where you guys got A.J. Brown. You got A.J. Brown at the convention, known as the Combines. It's not just dudes in shorts, which I'm assuring that M. Reyes probably will have a great breakdown of that. Dudes in shorts. Without further ado, we bring in our guy, Big Z, Xander Krause, right now. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? No, I don't think I have internet. Is my internet good?
It's kind of a little bit shaky. It's been shaky all week. What's up with the snow on the ground up there? That's kind of what I think it's doing to you guys, man.
I was just working on it. I haven't been able to keep track of time all day today, so that's my fault. My apologies, Big Sills, for being late. I'm not going to Mike North you, but I apologize for that, brother.
How about this, dude? So, about Kelce walking it back, man, that he got word from the owner or somebody got word from the owner because I guess they didn't phrase it correctly that when he called A.J. Brown, he basically said A.J. Brown's not mentally tough. That's how I Big Sills it. And he basically said he's just not a very tough guy. And he said, I didn't mean to say anything negative towards AJ, but bro, he did say that. Why is everybody so sensitive in the Eagle NovaCare Center?
That's just the nature of that organization. I mean, we've been talking about that for how freaking long. That's just how they rock there. But I agree with you. Like, dude, if you're gonna say it, like,
own it.
Don't walk it back the first time somebody on Twitter rips you. I mean, who cares? You said it. You're not wrong. I love AJ. I think the same thing. At the end of the day, AJ is a player that's very talented, but he can get in his own way at times, and you've seen that rear its head here. So it is what it is. And come on, Jason, plant your flag in the ground and leave it there.
Folks, do you know what this is? I'm going to show you what's happened to Big Z here. Okay, got to get a Big Sills injection. He got a Big Sills injection. I heard him this morning with John. Hold on. Okay, got it out. I'm ready to go. He got a Big Sills injection because did you see how he worded it? The Jeremy Fowler thing, he goes, to put pressure. John, I don't understand. And I was like, oh. I was so proud of you, man.
I had Johnny Mack via phone this morning. It was kind of nice to be able to just kind of yap and, yap at him and hear what he had to say. So,
yeah, but you know what? You're right. Who I believe is here's Xander. And he put John in a box. He goes, well, I mean, John, a crossroads? I was like, oh my God, this guy's so learning well.
You said something today that was really good. We talk about the impatience of the owner. How much has the impatience of the owner impacted the quarterback's development?
Completely.
I mean, that's real.
Real.
That's real. I mean, it goes back to Brian Johnson when they fired his ass after 1 year as a top 10 offense. I mean, you could make an argument that was, while Jalen did have a lot of turnovers that year, he did develop as a passer that year. He threw the ball a lot. I think he threw for 3,900 yards that year. That was the closest he ever got to the legendary, the famous, the iconic 4K Sileo. They brought Brian Johnson back. They would have killed one of Cileo's main talking points that I'll never get the 4K because I think they would have got the 4K the next year. But, yeah, I do wonder about that, man. I do wonder about that. That was a good point by you.
How about this? So here, let me see here. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, 3-time Pro Bowl, Burt Bell MVP, has gone to 2 Super Bowls. He's at a crossroads?
I said this. I said I can be critical of things.
You can't be critical of what I just read.
No, but I'm saying I agree. I'm critical though at times personally, and I take shit for it sometimes, which is fine. It's part of the business. It's part of what I do, which is all good. I love all you guys. As much shit as you give me, I'm right. As much shit as you want to give me, I'm fucking right. So listen up. All right. But I'll be critical at times, but you also have to look and be like, dude, there's not really a world that exists where you should be looking at moving on from the coach or the quarterback that won a Super Bowl, 12 months ago.
12 months ago.
I mean, a year ago tomorrow is what? The parade, the anniversary, 1 year anniversary of the parade. It was Valentine's Day. That's why I remember that. We were on the parade float. So it's a struggle, but I do think that there's a little bit of an overreaction happening this summer or so far, and I don't think Jalen Hurts should be on the hot seat. I don't even really think Nick Sirianni should be on the hot seat, but I understand that'll get more people fired up than the Jalen Hurts one. This is what I'm learning. I'm learning that the fan base is actually bigger buttercups about Nick Sirianni than they are about Jalen Hurts, but it's for the opposite reason. And all these people don't have a single lick of consistency in their logical arguments. Nick Sirianni's to blame for 25 and 23, but he gets no credit for 22 and 24. Doesn't even fucking add up. All right. But it is what it is. And we'll see.
I'll say this one more time. He's a front runner. Things are good. He's great. When things are shitty, he's awful. I mean, that's what you just explained to me. When things are great. Nick, congratulations. Way to win the Super Bowl.
That is such a joke of a perspective.
Really? It's true, though.
as respectfully as I can say that,
It's so true,
a joke of a perspective.
It's
what
so
a
true.
childish perspective that is.
Hey, when things are bad, watch 4th and 11. That's old Nicky.
Let's say you're a man and a husband and a father. If your house is in order and you get all the credit, and then when shit hits the fan, you point at Dee Dee and your wife and say, "Well, hey, what the fuck you guys doing?"
No, Big Sills has answers. Big Sills has answers. You know what I do, Xander? You know what I do? When adversity hits, you know what I do? I make the best of everything, and I push forward.
Yo, you ready for an answer? How about this for an answer? You collapse in 2023, and then you go win a Super Bowl in 24. How's that for an answer, everybody?
And then you turn around in 4th and 11 and end your season against a JV Niner team. Congratulations to you, man.
Nerds in the chat. You guys are so stupid. You don't know your ass from a hole in the wall. Shut up.
All right. I got a question here for you now. Another one here. So Big Z has, and the narrative is this. They're changing the offense for this. Do you think that Nick, your boy, and everyone in the organization thinks that this offense has gone as far as it can go? Or do you really think what their code's saying is this? I think the quarterback has gone as far as he can go.
I think that's a fair question. I think that's it kind of looks like that's how they see it, isn't it? And then they blow the whole thing up. So I think that's fair.
Well, aren't they both colliding with one another? Don't you think they both are hand in hand? That if you think that offense, which we named and everything that Jalen has accomplished in that offense, it sure looks like the front office and the coaching staff. Here's what I think they do a lot of, and I wonder if you think the same way. When you see a player, well, AJ can't play in the slot. We're not going to play him in the slot. Jalen can't do this. So we're going to get away from that, move away from that, because this is who he is. They label these guys. They kind of like, you're this guy, and they don't do any developing them on trying to improve. Like, why wouldn't you put AJ in the slot and try him? Why wouldn't you move him onto the other side more often? Why wouldn't you move him like Puka Nacua? He's a spectacular talent. They don't do that. It's almost like they read those Lance Zierlein things and they stick to them.
Johnny Mack would he, I love Johnny Mack. He's a tough dude to debate. He would roast you right now. He would say, "Oh, here we go with the concepts. With the concepts. Yeah, it's the offensive concepts, everybody." All right.
Well, then why are they changing it? If they don't like the concept they were in, why are they you're changing the concept now, are you not?
I don't think it's about the concepts. I think it's about accentuating the talents of your players.
Okay, so like we're getting Mark Trestman on.
All right, wait a second. Who are the three highest paid players on offense?
AJ, quarterback, and Barkley.
Okay. Does this new proposed offense accentuate the talents of any of those three players?
Not with the quarterback.
I don't think it accentuates the talents of Saquon or AJ, and that's completely independent of the quarterback.
Okay. Wait a minute. Well, let me stop you there for a minute. So wait, this is the second time, if I'm not mistaken, in 3 years that you'll have dual quarterbacks or dual wide receivers over 1,000 yards. You have an 1,100-yard running back, and you have a quarterback that's around 3,200 at 25 touchdown passes. And you're changing for what? How many teams have dual wide receivers with 1,000 yards? How many people have Josh Allen doesn't have one wideout over 500 yards receiving?
That's a Josh Allen problem.
No, that's a Buffalo Bills problem.
That's a Joshy boy problem.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is out here getting these receivers paid, baby.
And then in the offseason, they're getting the coaches fired.
I'm just kidding. I'm playing this chat box like a fiddle. Like a freaking fiddle. And Sills is riding the pine with him. He's like a seesaw. He's going up and down. No diddy.
Yeah,
no diddy. By the way, real quick, I got to address this guy. Got to do it. A.W. Conti says, my internet's like, well, that's not the point. A.W., are you related to me? Is this a cousin? That's my mom's maiden name is Conti.
Oh.
the Casaconti in Glenside. Who knows what the Casaconti is in Glenside?
Like that.
Famous Italian restaurant. I got to ask him. AW, my cousin's name is Anthony Conti. Is that you, Anthony? I don't think so. I don't think you would have said that comment. But
guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Super chats. We appreciate you. So what about that? Drafting a quarterback in day 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it would be pretty stupid unless they're looking for, somebody to replace Tanner. Dude, I don't like.
Don't you think?
Wait.
Is that owner not capable of doing that?
What do you hate in sports talk? When a sports talk guy does what? What do you hate? You hate it.
He doesn't have conviction in his.
When he rides the fence.
Yeah.
When he rides the fence.
Yeah.
John, I love him. He's riding the fence on AJ. 52-48. Now it's 52-48 the other way. Now it's 50-50. Riding the fence. You hate when people ride the fence.
I can't stand it.
Well, either commit to Jalen Hurts or move him. He's the quarterback. You're going to use a second-round pick on a quarterback right now? Give me an offensive lineman. Give me some defensive players. Give me a safety. Give me a corner. Come on.
How about this, Xander? Are they committed to anybody?
No. And do I disagree with you about Howie.
What do you mean?
You're right that people don't know billionaires. You don't know how much that owner loves Howie Roseman.
Well, he fired him before.
Dude, they believe what you believe. Howie Roseman's the only reason they got a ring. It's not Nick or Jalen, it's Howie.
I believe that 1,000%.
Well, so why would the owner move on from him?
Because he has a track record of it. Of being impulsive. Dude, I don't think it's anything to do with impatience. It's impulsiveness.
Oh, it's impatience.
I think this guy's impulsive, man. Dude, he fired him before. If you got a track record of doing that shit, you're capable of anything.
Well, I guess there is an area where you could look at it and think of it as a positive. Like sometimes
he did keep him.
Somebody told me this, and this was advice I got from a very successful entrepreneur back when we were beginning to start JAKIB. And he said, you're in your 20s. And he said, 99% of entrepreneurs don't have success in their 20s. 99%, you won't have success. You know what will kill you? If you fail slowly. Failing will not kill you. Everybody fails, especially entrepreneurs. Failing slowly will kill you. You need to fail fast. And maybe there's some value in quick. I'm not going to sit here and wait, Maybe there's some value in that. I think
moving off mistakes is a problem for many teams that don't do.
Yeah, but there also can be it's a double-edged sword where I think, like you said, you're not giving the quarterback a chance to develop properly. You're not giving the head coach a chance to, take his head out of the bee's nest because he's so worried about getting stung. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think there's an argument to be made that it could be a positive, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like a positive to me when you're talking about a coach on the hot seat and a quarterback on the hot seat when they were parading down Broad Street a year ago. I don't know.
It tells me about the impulsiveness and the impatience of the owner. But Xander, do you believe that every human being has a personality trait?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What if you had to, from 35,000 feet, what would you think how would you define Jeffrey Lurie? How would you look at him as a human? Impulsive? Like a quick decision guy? He's not patient. He's a successful man. Hey, look, no. There's not just negative. He's a successful guy.
Very successful, no doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but you got to tell the whole story.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I don't say this to criticize Jeffrey Lurie, but I do look at some of the trends. Okay, that's how I would look at it. He seems to be a little bit of a wormy guy, and I think some of this behavior is wormy behavior. I really don't say that as like I'm shitting on him. Like I heard this story, and I'm not going to tell you who I heard this from, but I heard this story that there's a country club in Philadelphia. Not Marianna.
Oh, do tell, please.
And Jeffrey Lurie wanted to get into this country club. he was doing anything to get into the club. And the board didn't like him. They didn't want him in the club. And I don't know if anybody knows about country club. They can be some of the weirdest people ever. So I'm not saying they're not weird either. But they didn't want him to get in because they're not a fan of him. They think he's an odd guy. And he went through everything. He tried to go through every backlink to get in. And long story short, he never got in. I know this story well. I don't know if anybody else knows this story. This is a guy I'm closely connected with. He tells me this story. And I'm chuckling at it. And, basically Lurie's a weird guy and they didn't want him in. And I wonder if some of those same tendencies for why they didn't want him in there are some of the same reasons that people think he's a wormy guy as he owns the football team. Doesn't mean he's not successful. Doesn't mean he doesn't do a lot of things right. But I do wonder if that wormy tendency is why he wants to blow everybody out so quick. And also why he thinks he's the only reason for success.
Oh, my God, man.
That's it off the air. I'll tell you that story. That's got to be off the air.
Oh, my God.
That's not an on-the-air story.
All right, I got one here for you, too.
Jeffrey Lurie will have this account nuked in seconds.
No shit. Absolutely, man.
People called the head of Google to fire our YouTube channel.
Hey, Jeff Bezos, I got a question for you. How you doing?
Yeah, right.
Why not give Goddard a 1-year deal?
Because he's 32. He misses games every year. And, it's time to turn the page.
Give him a 1-year deal. Give him a 1-year deal, and then you tell him this. Okay, I'm going to pay you $16 million, $15 million. Give you 1 year, $15 million. If things go great, I'll give you 2 years. I don't think he wants to leave, Xander. That's what I'm hearing now.
I wouldn't be upset if they gave him a 1-year deal, but I also would understand if he walks. I mean,
but I heard he don't want to go. You might get a break here. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to leave.
All right. Well, what's the plan then for the tight end position?
You draft a guy,
and then keep Goddard.
Keep Goddard. Make the position stronger. If you're going to pass over the middle of the field, Jesus Christ, dude. I'd like to have some competent people. Hey, if I'm losing AJ and I'm okay, let's figure this out. If I'm losing AJ, why not enhance the middle of the field throws with 2 quality tight ends? They're intermediate passes too. Wouldn't that help your game a little more? Plus, you get short intermediate passes. West Coast offense is tight end centric, isn't it?
And normally it is. Jalen doesn't, he's not one of not his strong suits would be when like the quick release game. So like Carson Wentz sucked at that too. Everybody remember Carson Wentz used to make these throws 38 yards downfield that you would just be like, how did he make that throw? And then he couldn't for the life of him throw the ball to the running back in the flat. I mean, he just couldn't throw it.
He'd overtook it, or he'd throw it down. He'd throw it in the ground.
Over his head. It just couldn't do it. Some quarterbacks are like that. So it's not really Jalen's skill set, but we'll see. I mean, Jalen showed an ability to develop skill sets, but the question is, can he do it consistently? Throughout the course of a season, I think is your big question there.
Here's my impression of Carson Wentz. Dude, pat, sack. Pat, sack, fumble, kick, field goal, touchdown. That's all right. Max Crosby.
No, I'm out.
Tell me why.
Too much. He's a declining player. He's making a boatload of money. He is a declining player. Look at his last couple years.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. You don't want to believe me? Let me pull the shit up. Let me take Sileo to a Friday day school.
Hold on here for a second. So you don't think the talent around him? Oh, wait a minute here. I thought that only
wait, we got the talent around.
That only applies to Jalen Carter, I see.
Oh, bullshit. I don't give Jalen Carter a pass.
I see here.
I don't. When have you heard me give Jalen Carter a pass?
Let's see here. So
23, he had 14.5 sacks. 24, he had 7.5. Last year, he had 10.
And how many games?
Last year, 15.
24,
12.
He had 10 sacks in 15 games. Is that correct?
Well, you tell me. 21, he was an All-Pro. 22, he was an All-Pro Defensive Player of the Year and 6th in the voting. 2023, he was 4th in the voting for Defensive Player of the Year and an All-Pro, first-team All-Pro, and a Pro Bowler. Last 2 years, he's only been a Pro Bowl. So he had 3 straight years of All-Pro playing and Defensive Player of the Year voting in 4 of his first 5 years in the league. And then the last 2 years, he hasn't been in that conversation at all and has only been a Pro Bowl player.
So in the last 4 years, he's got 44 sacks. And he had 28 TFLs.
They're going back further. They're going back more.
Okay, this year he had 28 tackles for losses.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You see that TFL thing there, that 28?
That's pretty good number.
That's exceptional.
Yeah, 28.
23,
TFL.
23, 17, and 28.
I don't say this to say that I'm not a Max Crosby guy. I actually do like the player a lot.
You just think the money, $32 million, is too high.
I just don't think it's the right move for this Eagles team. I really don't. I don't think getting more expensive at the edge, moving on from – I don't think you get that much better. I mean, I look at this team as – and this is the tough part about the offseason is I'm not saying the defense was perfect last year, but the defense wasn't the problem. Were they perfect in every game? No.
No, but it will if you don't sign Jalen Phillips. But it will be if you don't sign Jalen Phillips, you'll have a problem again. Now, here's to your point.
I'd rather go
there. Yeah, okay.
How
me
much
too.
do you have to give up for Crosby? Like, what is your expectation? Because everybody, like Michael can say this. I'd take him too, Michael. But Michael, there's a price to pay, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'd like a nice Lamborghini SVJ right now, but it's 850 G's. That price is too steep for me, Michael. I can't get it. Those are two different conversations.
So here, Raiders are demanding a premium Michael Parsons type haul for Max Crosby.
Yeah, come on.
At least 2 first-round picks. They're not getting that. First-round pick with a combination of a value second-rounder. Here's the problem that you get with that. The Eagles are sitting at 23. But then I would fire back and go, Crosby signed. Bro, he signed through 29. You don't have to fucking worry about the guy. For like 3.5 years, you don't have to worry about that edge position.
Who remembers early?
He's not fucking Ryan Kerrigan.
Wait, that's not what I'm saying. Who remembers weeks 1 through 4 last season? Mr. Hill, can we get Trayvon Walker? That I will go for Trayvon Walker right now because it's a younger player with way more in front of him for a better price, a better deal. I'm going that way every time over Crosby.
He had 3.5 sacks this last year.
Oh, ironic. Senor says Xander's takes are bad. Senor, you are legitimately a tick above a legal R word. I can't say that. Apparently YouTube does not like that word, but you're a tick above it, Senor. So sit down and shut the hell up. All right.
Funny. The Shah of Iran can have a YouTube channel, but you can't say the R word. All right, so
hey man, I don't make the rules. I
get you. No, we only follow them. I got you here.
I'm not really a rule follower either, but I can't afford to lose my business.
Here's the problem that you have with Trayvon Walker. He's the number 1 overall pick. I think he's a great player. I do.
That's not the GM that drafted him.
No. Trent Baalke drafted him?
Yep, Trent Baalke drafted him.
Okay, no, it's not. It's that new young kid that they got in there.
Yeah, Gladstone.
Yeah, they got him in there. Crosby's too high for you, huh?
I don't think he's too high. I just don't think that's the right deal for this team. I don't think that's the area to make the splash. Like, you're going to have to give up significant assets to bring in Crosby. I'm of the belief that you could use those significant assets in a better area to improve the football team while still maintaining your edge. Maybe it's paying Jalen Phillips. Like, for example, what would you rather do? Would you rather pay Jalen Phillips, let's say, $24 million? Or would you rather give up a first-round pick and pay Crosby 28 or 30, whatever he's making, $30 million.
I'd rather pay the 24.
Me too. And then use the first-round pick on a premium player. That's what I'd rather do. It's not that I don't like Crosby. It's not that I don't think Crosby's good. I do think he's good. But is that the best deployment of your assets? You have a limited bundle of assets. I'm not of the belief that that's the best use of those assets.
And here's the problem that you're going to have too, that you're right on not trading and giving away the first rounders. You're losing A.J. Brown and you're losing Lane in the next 2 years. Do you not agree with that?
Who'd you say, Lane and who?
A.J.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. You're going to need your first round picks, right? You're going to need your picks to replace those premium guys. I don't want to go into a fucking year not having a first rounder. All of a sudden, AJ's not on the team. I got a second rounder I got to deal with. Wait a minute here. You're going through a transition.
I'm sensing a Big Sills change.
What do you mean? Change him.
I love giving Sills a look, and he's got no clue what's coming next. How many times, pinch me if you heard this on the National Football Show. Elite edge rushers don't win Super Bowls. Now Sileo wants to send the farm for an elite edge rusher.
I never said the trade for Crosby.
You've been hoodwinked.
I've never said that. I never said
astray, folks.
I asked dude. I asked you the question. I didn't ask me the question.
Yeah, no, I like him, but I'm not in on the move.
I'm not doing that either. How about this one here? So the 5th-year option coming up. That decision will be made next week, it seems, at the combines. You ready to pay a 5th-year option of $27.2 million?
27.2 for Jalen? Is that what it's going to be?
You bet, my friend.
Well, you're not letting Jalen Carter walk.
Here, get this. It's higher because Carter was second-team All-Pro this past season. And Jordan Davis's 5th-year option was 12.9, even though they were both first-round picks. But remember that tier thing I talked to you about? Okay? The tier thing, he made the tier because he got All-Pro second team. So, I mean, Carter's going to be 25 in April around the draft time.
Dude, he's not even 25 yet. Oh, dude,
no.
You're pay that guy. Come on, man. You're not letting him walk out the
$27 million.
Dude, you can embellish the words as much as you could put as much emotion behind that $27 million as you want. It's not going to change that he's worth that cash.
He ain't worth that money.
Dude, you're not letting Jalen Carter walk.
I haven't seen an elite player yet. Have you?
I'm fine with the 5th-year option. Now you don't even want to do the 5th-year option?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay. Put that in the fence, Sileo.
I haven't seen elite football.
All right, so do you want to pick up the 5th-year option or no?
I'm asking you. I asked you the question.
I do. I just said yes, I do. Do you agree? That's my question back.
$27 million for a guy that I'm not sure is going to ever reach his potential. Man.
Dude, you're a double agent. This guy's
how you doing?
He wants to blow up the Eagles.
Let's see here. No, I feel more comfortable giving Jordan Davis the money now than I do that guy.
I'll take Crosby and a 1 for Carter.
So you're going to pay him. You're going to take the gamble and pay him.
I'm giving you a 25-year-old elite DT. All right, I need Crosby and a 1.
The way it sounded by Micah Parsons, you were going to give Carter a 1 and a 3 for old Micah. I think you're going to need a.
Yeah, well, Micah Parsons is a better player than Max Crosby.
I completely agree. By the way, I tried telling people that this Trey Hendrickson conversation that people were throwing, I was like this. The guy is fool's gold. Trey Hendrickson's fool's gold. Dude.
Oh, Trey Hendrickson. He's really the name that I want nothing to do with. Nothing.
I'm going to pick that 5th-year option up on that kid.
All right. There you go. Now he's coming. Let me send out the fishing line. I'm
not giving that guy a 3-year contract, though. There is no way. Am I giving that guy 3 years yet?
All right,
Because
so
I want to see him come back.
What's he got to do for him to earn the Sileo badge of approval?
Put that defense in the top 10.
Well, you think one man's capable of doing that?
So he says this right on cue, my friend. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. Do you think Jalen Carter's an elite ball player?
No, I think he's got elite potential.
Okay.
He hasn't been elite yet. He's had elite moments, though.
All right. So last year, the Cleveland Browns won 5 ball games. And the Cleveland Browns' number 1 defense was 4th in the league. Passing, they were 3rd in the league. In red zone, they were 7th in the league. 3rd down, they were 7th. The impact of Myles Garrett on a defense, he can't throw the ball, but I'll tell you what, his impact is felt on that side of the football.
Yeah,
that's elite.
That is fucking elite. But, dude, let me tell you, I don't disagree with the words you just said, but don't we kind of have to put, like, the rest of the planet is over here, and Myles Garrett, who, like, looks like the guy was made in a freaking laboratory, who performs like he was made in a laboratory.
True.
I mean, he, to me, is –
You're
I
right.
mean, it's tough to comp that guy.
He's the best player. I think he's the best player in the game.
He's the best player I've ever watched in my lifetime.
Yep.
That's how good he is.
Yeah.
To me, he's Aaron Donald. I think even better.
Lawrence Taylor says it. If there's one guy that he thinks is in that conversation with him and then he's been consistent, LT says it's this guy here. And kudos to him on how he plays. So there's no doubt. Here's an example of what we're talking. Trey Hendrickson on the Bengals. They were 31st in total D. They were in pass defense. They were 26th in rushing defense. They were the worst team in football. His impact is nothing. Bro, I'm not paying $32 million for Trey Hendrickson. That's Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, that's a good comp. Why?
Okay.
He's a white guy? Is that why?
Sure.
Kerrigan and Hendrickson.
Yeah, sure. All right, so how about the Eagles trade for Malik Willis?
I don't hate that. I it's funny. I was a Malik Willis fan coming out of college. I thought everybody was. Remember, he had kind of like a controversial like combine because he played school at a lesser school. Where did he play? Like Liberty?
Is that where he played?
He played somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was Liberty.
Malik Willis.
Auburn and Liberty. He transferred to Liberty. He got drafted out of Liberty,
and they won a boatload of games over there.
Yeah,
too.
I knew I was right. Freaking Liberty. I mean, I loved him coming out of college, but I remember he was super controversial because everyone was like, "You're falling for the banana in the tailpipe." He's got the big arm at the combine, and he's got this great smile, and he's got you're charismatic and all these things. He's a fake. He went to Liberty. I thought he was a great player. I thought he had great talent. I thought he had great skill set. I thought he had great upside. And I would like him. I would. And you know what? I feel pretty good that if you did it, unfortunately have a quarterback injury, which you don't want to speculate on or wish for, obviously. But if Jalen were to take an injury, I'd feel decent with Malik Willis coming into the ballgame.
I want to ask you a question about Jalen Hurts here now. How do you think Jalen's taking all this conversation? I think he's in a better place mentally than what Carson Wentz ever was. And I think he can handle all this. I think he handled – by the way, he was prepped for it when he was in college with Tagovailoa. So that really helped him, I think, what he's going through. How do you think he feels about all this conversation about whether the quarterback can do this? The offense is not very good. Quarterback has been this, and he's got that resume. It's almost like he hasn't, no matter what he does, people like me or anybody else is ever going to go and give him his flowers. How do you think he's handling all this? Because it's pretty negative stuff. Not just me, dude. It's national now. It's local now. It's maybe even the ownership has kind of like backed up a little bit on the guy. According to your guy, John, that relationship's not in the same place right now.
Anybody ever used the ceramic spray on their car? You ever used the ceramic spray in your car where the water just beads up, falls right off? That's Jalen. I don't think it affects him at all. And you know what? How many times have you heard me say, because everybody all of a sudden thinks I'm a Jalen hater, which I've never been a Jalen hater.
He's never been.
But how many times have you heard me say, as a man, I respect so much about Jalen Hurts? And that's one of the things. I mean, I forget, who was it recently that talked about, I saw it somewhere. Where the hell did I read this? Somebody talked recently about the mental fortitude of Hurts when it came to, like, in 21, when they were shopping for Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Like, he knew everything. He knew all about it. He knew what they were doing. He knew what they were trying to accomplish. It never impacted him. Like, I just think the dude is a rare breed when it comes to mentality and approach. And I will continue to give him credit for that. I think it's one of the best traits about Jalen Hurts. And I don't think any of this stuff is phasing him at all. Now, does he have to play better? Absolutely. Does he know that? I think yes. I think he's smart enough to know that. Do I think it's affecting him? No, I don't. Do I think it's affecting maybe someone like A.J. Brown? Yeah, I do. Jalen Hurts, though? Nah. That dude is mentally tough. You can criticize the game. You can criticize some of the passing stuff. You can criticize whatever you want about the dude. That dude's mentally tough. And I don't think any of this is affecting him at all.
So Fox Sports' Greg Allman has said that the Eagles have great interest in Romeo Doubs as a wide receiver, and it's likely to come into the $12 to $15 million range. They're saying that now, obviously, as you're getting closer to the combines, this, Ander, that's a convention. GMs and agents, there's more work behind the scenes than dudes out there on the field, really. It's the agent. This is where A.J. Brown's deal got consummated, was at the combines in Indianapolis. So Romeo Doubs, according to a guy who's pretty plugged in, Greg Allman from Fox Sports.
Yeah, he's very plugged in.
What do you make of that? That they'd be looking for that? Is that the first sight at A.J. Brown?
So he said,
out of here?
He said what? He said that the Eagles are interested in him, or just he put a price on him?
Fox Sports is Greg Allman has logged a prediction that the Eagles to sign a Romeo Doubs, finding a value at number 2 receiver can be tough. He's likely to come in at a range between $12 to $15 million. Where it is, agents have been in contact with the Eagles.
That's a pretty low number. Now, I know he's a good player. He's not a great player. He's a good player. I'm actually a fan of Romeo Doubs. I know him well because he sticks out like a sore thumb when he plays, because he wears that big thing on his helmet. He wears the what do they call it? The Guardian caps or whatever?
Guardian caps,
yeah.
Yes.
So that's how I know him well. But that's how he sticks out to me during games. But that's a low number. I'd be – in fact, I think that would be a worthy – by the way, remember, he's got experience with Mannion.
That's why that's making sense.
Right. So maybe there's some and if AJ goes, how do you feel about this?
I think the reason that they're looking at the 3 wide receiver, that doesn't mean that AJ's out. That means that, again, they got to get production out of the third hole, dude. How many times have I been telling you the last 3 years? It's between 29 and 30 catches a year. You got to get more production out of that if you're going to run a spread.
I feel like I don't want to speculate that that's going to happen. I'm going to go with what's been true for 5 years, that the third receiver in Philly is not going to get that much runway. Now, what would you think about this? If AJ is inevitably traded, and that's a tough gap to fill, obviously, Romeo Doubs and a second or third round pick as your third receiver to make up for that, with Devontae as your 1. Now, that's a small group of receiver. I don't know who they would draft.
Depend who you draft and depend who you would draft to bring in. I think that would make your number 2 pick. I think you draft a wide receiver at 2 then.
Maybe.
If you move off, for me, if AJ goes, what I'm doing is I'm still drafting an offensive lineman at 1. And then I come in at 2. And depending on what kind of return on investment I'm getting with AJ, am I getting another 2? Could you package up 2 1s or 2 2s to get into the first round again? Or do you go from 23 down and create a couple more twos like how we like. See, to me, if
I don't think they go down, dude. I think they need a premium pick this year. I think there's actually a better chance they go up. If I had to make a guess today on February 13th, I would predict the Eagles trade up.
For what position?
To 14 to 16, somewhere in there. For a left tackle, for a tackle, right tackle, a tackle.
I think these offensive linemen are pretty – I think they're a lot – outside of the top three guys, I think they're kind of all the same.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. This is why I think it's tackle. GMs have a different job than a coach. A coach has to win in a given game in a given year to be successful. A GM has to look at this year and also has to keep an eye on the future. They're doing very different things. If you look at the Eagles roster right now, I know it wasn't perfect last year, and I'm not saying there's no area for improvement, but almost all your offense is under contract.
Yes.
With Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert.
Yep.
Your defense, let's say they sign Jalen Phillips. All right, maybe you lose Reed, maybe you lose Nakobe, who you already have a replacement for. Everybody else is under contract. Like what you can't let happen is Lane Johnson hang up the cleats, and you don't have even an inkling of a replacement in the building. So I think this is the year that Howie, while I know we need players, I think he looks and he says, we got enough players under contract. I'm going to use 2, 3, and 4 to try and get impact players this year, and I need to get my tackle situation handled for the future. Let me go and handle that. Let me go and get that done. Keep my eye on the future. Address one of the biggest needs we're going to have in the next couple of years, and then go use 2, 3, and 4 for a receiver, a tight end, and maybe a safety or a secondary player. Now, I could see that happening.
I want to ask you this last question here before we get Mike North, before I get reamed.
Oh, yeah. We better get the chats. Mike North's coming in like a blaze of glory.
He did, man. We got him good last week, though. Do you think the impatience of the owner also inhibits Nick Sirianni from developing an offense? And do you think he hurts the head coach?
No, not really. No. I think Nick,
I don't think he enjoyed firing Kevin Patullo.
Who, Nick or the owner?
Nick.
Oh, Nick definitely didn't enjoy that. I think this is Nick Sirianni's offense, dude. I think this is what Nick wanted to run.
From day one?
No, I think this is where he came after learning his talent, learning his players, getting a better feel for what, how the team ran, getting a better feel for the quarterback, getting a better feel for AJ, for Saquon. Obviously, the addition of Saquon meant a lot. I think that's how it went, dude. I really do.
The problem that I have with how you see the coach is that the owner doesn't see the head coach the same way you do. I'm not saying you're wrong, how you see him.
Yeah, you're right. The owner doesn't see it. You're right. The
owner doesn't see that guy the way you see it.
I agree.
He looks at Nick as a pawn, does he not? Not a major player on the chessboard.
And listen, I don't disagree with you, but at least I'm consistent, because I remember when they fired Doug Peterson, and I wasn't on there at the time, but I loved Doug Peterson. And I used to get so pissed off at the firing of Doug Peterson because of this very reason. So Jeffrey Lurie's consistent. He doesn't think it's the coaches, but I'm the same. I think it's the coaches deserve more credit. And, the owners does a good job, but I'm not of the belief that owners win Super Bowls. I'm just not.
Yeah, I don't believe owners belong in the Hall of Fame either.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that take either from you.
I think it's coaches and players that belong in the Hall of Fame. I think Mike North pulled a Jimmy Johnson on me. Jimmy used to tell me, if you show up at 8:00 to get on the buses,
Mike said, I'm going 6 minutes early. The last thing I'm listening to on this Friday is Xander. Me for being 30 seconds late. All right, let's do the super chat so we're done.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, real quick. Here's Marsh. It ain't Micah Parsons, ... Mark.
Max Crosby, no.
NJ says, would you trade for Crosby and give our first and M. Reyes? I'd give M. Reyes.
Give M. Reyes for a box of rocks.
Actually, you know what? M. Reyes, I would not give you up for Max Crosby, brother. I got your back, M. Reyes. You're not going anywhere for Max Crosby.
Hey, M. Reyes, I'd give you up for a box of maxi pads.
That says, I believe Nick's system and development stunted Hurts' growth. This new offense will allow him to grow and prove more, hopefully.
Hopefully. Always a good strategy. Hopefully.
Well, I don't disagree with the comment. The problem I have with the comment is this. Would you rather have prioritized Jalen Hurts' development, or would you rather have prioritized winning as many football games as the Eagles have in the last 4 years? Because there's not many teams who can say they've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 and won one. So Nick prioritized winning, and guess what? For all the Nick haters who are still in this chat, it worked.
But then why are they changing then?
That's the question. Because I think the owner, who was rumored he almost fired him at the bye week last year, and then he went on to win a Super Bowl, I think if the owner is breathing down his neck. And Nick said, all right, I'll placate. I will change the ugly offense that everybody, including Sileo, Xander, Mike North, everybody and their mother hates. The ugly Eagles offense. I'll do it. I'll finally change it.
Thank God you guys have Jeffrey Lurie, and you don't have that dude McCaskey. God rest Virginia Caskey, but she stunk as an owner.
Yeah, she was terrible.
She was terrible as an owner. Okay? You're just terrible as an owner. But, yes, I digress.
All right, that's all the supers.
Now get this. Hey, did you hear Mike North is going to have to travel to Iowa?
That's the Cards. Come on, man.
Hey, wait a minute. He's going to have to get on I-80. He's going to have to get on I-80, drive through Princeton, Illinois, go up through Moline and Rock Island.
Yeah,
we're going to move the Bears to Rock Island.
These are a bunch of people, Sileo, that do not deal with the same problems of the common man. All right? Me and you got to think about our next bite of food, our next dollar, our next cent, our next tank of gas. These are people that are completely detached from reality, and they're playing everything like a fiddle. It's monopoly to them. You gotta create leverage in areas so that you can get what you want in other areas. That's what they're doing. That's all.
See, but the places that the Bears are talking about are Gary, Indiana, and Rock Island.
I don't think it's realistic. By the way,
only thing in those places, one of them is Pioneer Corn, and the other place is the broken down buildings. I mean,
I would do the Arlington Park. I mean, call it a day. They got the beautiful physics. I mean, they got the land. They got everything they need there. Build it. It'll be freaking amazing. They'll have Super Bowls in Chicago.
Fix fucking Soldier Field, man. It's right there on Lakeshore.
I know. It's Soldier Field's in the 6th spot.
Fix the damn place. Big Z, I'll catch you. Thank you, bro.
Later, brother. Appreciate you.
We got to do some things here, man. I mean, Mike North is like, he's giving me the Jimmy Johnson now, because when Jimmy Johnson said this to me, make sure you guys are ready to get on the bus at 8 o'clock and be sharp on it. So if you showed up 10 minutes before and you were getting ready to get on the bus, you know what Jimmy would say? You're fucking late. And I'm like, Coach, you said 8 o'clock. No. So we had Jimmy time. And Jimmy time is 30 minutes before. So every time we showed up, he goes, we got a 4:30 meeting up in the auditorium. Make sure you guys are there. We had to show up at 4. You had to go. He had a 30-minute. So we all set our clocks 30 minutes. Seriously, that's a true story. Everybody on the planet set their clocks 30 minutes ahead because it was called Jimmy Johnson time. That's a true story. Everywhere I went, and I was with the guy for 4 years. All right. 5 years I was with the guy, college and in the pros. All right. Without further ado, the man who's going to be going on with his wife on I-80, which goes all the way across the upper part of Dixon, Illinois, and Princeton, Illinois. It goes down through there, and Mike's going to be watching games pretty soon in Rock Island or Moline, Iowa, for Bears football. He is my friend, Mike North, one of the greats of all time. How you doing, Mike?
Great. It's good to see that I'm auditioning for the Joker, Joker 5. My God. Anyway, it's good to talk to you, Dan, and everybody out there. I tried to get us on Twitter. I don't know what's going on right now through the breakdown.
Like that technology's a thing, isn't it?
I tried. I looked for it. I go to Morgan even. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for Danny Sileo, Big Sills. Check it out. And right now, I got us, and I'm very happy to say that I'm sure they're not going anywhere. except to Arlington Heights, Illinois. I know that they pick up anything that's going to help their brand or help leverage, even to look to the point of being ridiculous and going to Iowa. I like Cedar Rapids, okay? Great town. Great town. And look, you can move into Nowheresville and make it. Ask Green Bay, okay?
That's true, Mike.
Yeah. You can move. Look at Oklahoma City in the NBA.
Yep.
Nobody thought it was going to work out. It's going to be temporary. They said, hey, wait a minute. We're the only team in town. And you know what? People come from all over, just like the Field of Dreams. So it can work out. My deal is they've sat on their property for 3 years. They boggled the deal by talking to the mayor of Chicago, who next to, I don't know, clowns coming out of a Volkswagen, looks like an entertaining act. Then they didn't really hire a COO of the stadium for a year. They were behind. I don't think, knew what they wanted to do themselves. But see, to me, there's a little truth to going up I-80, and I've gone up it many times. But there's a truth to where I live and everything west of Chicago that they're not even checking out. Different counties. There's like 7, 8 counties in Illinois. You got, and to think that the only suitable sites are ones that are out of state and in like impoverished areas, that on a sunny day, if you have an entertainment center or a fashion outlet, you might want to go to Gary on a Wednesday. I think that's been tried. Okay. With the riverboats, they do good, but now there's riverboats closer. You're seeing also, everybody's talking about it's the new wave thing, maybe because Kansas City's getting out of town. Okay. Well, what about going back to Washington, D.C.? How about that? And I'll tell you what, you look at other, look at Buffalo. They're in Buffalo. So there are cities that actually get it. That's going to bring downtown, if you want one to exist, attractions that will bring you to Super Bowl. So I think they're going to Arlington Heights. And believe me, people will come to Chicago and then travel another 15 miles if they have to go to a Super Bowl. You know, because I hear horror stories about San Francisco and getting out to the hotels out in Santa Clara. And it's like, that's in another state.
Yeah. No, Mike, what they did was, and what the NFL will do is just like they did with the Giants. When I was a small kid, when I was young, and they moved out of Yankee Stadium and they went up the Hill, and then they went to the Meadowlands, people said they would never drive to New Jersey to go watch Giants or Jets games. Well, here we are. If they're good, they're sellouts.
It's worked.
It's worked. So people, they're wrong on that. Mike,
they are. There's good ones and there's bad ones. The Redskins or the Commanders, whatever way you want to talk about them.
With the Landover was a nightmare.
They can't get out of there. I mean, they're going to get out of there. They're going to build a beautiful stadium, DC. Everybody learned their lesson about this relocating. It works in some spots, and in other spots it doesn't. I'm giving anybody, but the Chicago Bears are a charter traditional franchise that I'm understanding from my sources. The major owner, George McCaskey, does not want to get out of Illinois. Does not want to get out of Illinois. He doesn't feel good about it. It's and I've said even in the song, you're the pride and joy of Illinois. We're hearing rumblings that things are coming together a little bit. The politicians now are paying attention. So I think that's what's going to end up happening when it's all said and done. You have 5 million people in Cook County where they want to build it, and 500,000 in Lake County if they leave. So if they're in Arlington, it's 5 million. And if you want to go to Soldier Field, I'd be for it. But I think that site has become obsolete for the length and for the big-time stadium that you need. If you look at stadiums from the 1970s and compare them, even the old Comiskey Park, compare it to the new Comiskey Park that they built. There's like 5 times the size now. So I don't know if it would work.
Mike, I'm going to tell you what would happen in the end if the disaster is that the McCaskies would move that team. I think it would be in the same kind of conversation what happened with the Browns. I think they would let the McCaskies move out of Chicago. And if they were thinking of even moving out of Illinois, I think the city of Chicago would retain the Bears logo. They would retain the Bears
There's have to
history.
be a fight.
And what they would do is they would give it to a new ownership like they did with the Browns, like with the Haslams and with, all those guys that ended up initially buying the team. Carbon policy came in. There's no way you're going to say the NFL without the city of Chicago in it. There's just no way.
Yeah, well, I also believe that half of what I'm hearing about this, the folks in Indiana, half of them are not keen on them coming into Indiana. It just seemed like the Ravens and the Commanders trying to share. No, you're going to you got two huge friends. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but there used to be a rule.
Yes.
You had to be 150 miles.
That's right.
All of a sudden you could, but see, that rule got destroyed, even if it was two New York teams with the two teams playing in the Meadowlands. They were saying, wait a minute, how come you don't have two stadiums? And I'm sorry they moved out of Yankee Stadium. I go back. Look, I heard about it today. Somebody told me, I saw it on social media, north to north, ladies and gentlemen. It's right. I'm rolling right now, like I told you I would, no matter what the circumstances. Believe me when I tell you this. I've been around a part of 8 decades, okay? 2 centuries. I've seen it all. So when I tell a Big Sills, I almost tear up, that Yankee Stadium was a bad move in my childhood, and you don't forget it. You brought up another thing, the Brooklyn Dodgers. They talk about it now. Like, how dare you? And there's always that little stain that's getting smaller because those people are gone or starting to go. Yeah. But that has never been forgiven. And the history of that team was we supported you and you couldn't come up with a better plan. And then they gave them the Mets. Not in Brooklyn. But now you see Brooklyn starting to get sports back. But those people that fought for it, don't forget about them. Because that takes away from your town when you move out of a city. Ask the Detroit franchises. They're back.
Bobby Valentine told me a story on the Mets.
The ball playing Bobby Valentine?
Yeah, he's my cousin. He's my cousin.
You sound like every show now. It's happy. We never cared if it was Valentine's Day.
Hey, Bobby V's my cousin. So let me tell you what he told me about the Mets. He goes, you ever notice the colors of the Mets? And I go, yeah. He goes, well, it's giant orange and it's Brooklyn Dodger blue. What they did was they were trying to get both the Dodgers and the Giants because of the Polo Grounds and because of Evans Field. That's right there. The jersey and the colors of the Mets are the Giants and the Dodgers. So they were trying to get the fan base to go and support, but nobody wanted to go to Queens. And so when I grew up, that's why they were the Giant and they were like Dodger fans that were rooting for the Mets.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, there's franchises that make mistakes all the time. If the Bears move, you heard it from here first. They're hurting their franchise, not helping it. And they're also turning their back on at least 20 to 25% of the Bear fans because not everybody's going to like it. And somebody once said, and I understand, I'm the guy, you see the thing in People magazine, who wore it best? There's 2 girls with the same outfit on. And the one girl gets 35% and the other girl gets 65%. But, the 65% girl goes, man, that's great. But the 35% goes like this? No. But that's 35% thought you look better than her. And that's a positive number.
Absolutely. Mike, would you make a Super Bowl 60?
Look, my old pal, you're an old pal. Last week we had a few laughs. I called him Big Bunny. I would say Bad Bunny. Look, I go back to every entertainment genre my whole life. So I love entertainers. As an entertainer, although I thought I was watching an episode of McHale's Navy, for Christ's sake. But seriously, I didn't know what the lyrics said. I wouldn't care. I go back to the days, people acted shocked because it was all in Spanish. Yet in 1958, there
I
was
thought I was watching Ricky Ricardo. I didn't really know.
Desi Arnaz was a very great entertainer. But Richie Valens in 1958 sang La Bamba, ladies and gentlemen, 71 years ago. Nobody knew a God-blessed thing that he said, and it turned into a multi-million-dollar movie, sold a million copies, finished 22nd on the Billboard. So, I come in, I go to a buddy's house, and I hear this Pacelli guy. I feel like I'm in Italy, for God's sake. I go, what's going on? I go, nobody ever says.
Mike, this is what you took away from Super Bowl City is Big Bunny?
Yes, because the game was not good.
Okay, all right.
But I'll tell you what, I think Drake May was hurt. You get reports sometimes.
He was.
I because I know somebody, my buddy, Luke Pregande from Prop Swap went to the game, and he said there were some lame ducks out there. And I said, well, I'm going to just point out to you that the defense has something to do with the quarterback's clock speeding up. Okay. They were lame duck. He likes to wait to the last second. He's going to have to still work on releasing the football. But for his year, if you're going to judge a guy that got him to the Super Bowl off that game against a superior team, I'm Sam Darnold favorite right now as a guy that proved us that he could do it. Not that we were wrong. I've been around the block. I was right about Sam Darnold for 7 years. Okay? Now he's taken the command, and I can handle the thing. But don't ask us to apologize for the vomit fest that we saw for 6-7 years, regardless if it was the organization or not. I thought it was an interesting game. I'm old school. I like the defense. I like the fact that they couldn't get open against that team. It reminded me of a team that I was disrespectful, I think, by saying they didn't have a double sack guy. But my God, and you know this being a lineman, you guys can't wait if it's a rookie against you. And the two left, the left tackle, the left guard.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, they were both horrible. So it was a combination breakdown. Where was Stephon Diggs? And they don't have enough named players, so what he did was phenomenal this year. It won't take away that he had a bad Super Bowl, but I had the overall in that game, even though I was 4-2. I had a good day. I wanted to be maybe 5-1, but naturally, the only penalty, they might as well have told me, to Mike North. That run? No, got to bell back. It's a penalty, so I didn't get the over.
I got to bring a topic up with you, and I want to get your thoughts on it here, and it's about the NFL.
Last time I saw a guy like you were just looking, saying, I got to bring a topic up. I was under interrogation. Okay?
Well, you tell me then. Now, this is with the NFL here, so maybe this is something that they need to have little truth serum on. So the NFL owners had their panties in a bind today where they came back and, you know, that survey that goes around with the players, and the players gauge and they rank the owners, the facilities. So the NFL owners want an injunction that the players are no longer allowed to voice and to put out publicly who the good owners are, like that stiff in New York, Woody Johnson. And all these guys got their panties in a bind because they would say who the best trainers are, best in child care, and all of this. And this survey, the NFL owners, all 32 of them, wanted the NFL Players Association to take a knee, and the NFL Players Association took a knee because they got their panties in a bind. Yeah. Even though, Mike, the NFL owners allow PFF to go out and rank all of the players in the league, and they allow that. But, hey, if you say anything negative about an NFL owner, if you're the Players Association, the NFL Players Association is the weakest pro sports union that will ever – I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, here's the owners again kicking the players in the teeth.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan, and I also know this. As a guy in Chicago that has battled ownership, that is family, it's been tough on me at times. They forgot to get my press pass. You know, there's things that they do because they hear you criticize them on the radio when, in fact, you're independent of them. That's when I was on a station that didn't carry the teams. So they try to do things, and some of them pull shenanigans.
Well, you better be careful here, Mike, because the Philadelphia Eagles, Bob Lang, their PR director, watches the show diligently. And anytime I take a shot at them, he calls my boss and asks them to fire me.
Yeah, he calls me too, and I say, listen, he's a good guy. I'll let him go. I got a nice segment with him. But I got to tell you, I this is what the NFL turned into. You used to have newspapers, more information out there. You didn't have half of the media controlled by the National Football League. Everybody talks about a few columns or a few shows like ours who tell the absolute truth. They never talk about us. They promote the garbage because you know what? As we're seeing, and I was a regular working stiff when I really hit the big time, folks. It took me till I was 40. Okay, but I know what it's like. I worked construction. Okay, I was a bartender. I worked for the city of Chicago. So I'm a regular dude that got lucky. I knock on wood every day that people valued me, and I've been on the air in Chicago for 34 years.
Yep.
Okay, but there's no room for a lot of room for guys like me that are going to last as long as me. I know I'm fortunate because they'll snuff you out, man.
Oh yeah.
They're in cahoots with everybody. So the NFL, and when Sable died, the younger guy, the older guy dying was
the old man and the kid.
The kid dying was the end, and him selling was the end to the NFL because now they control everything. And people that have jobs on media, guys know nothings that would always be know nothings if they didn't have the NFL for them, okay? Given the platform, which is great. I've been there, done it. It's great, and then it's not so great, okay? At least I made a ton of dough in my world. And so my deal is that's good, what we're going to hear more of. They don't want any negativity, but they don't know what made them. Guys like Howard Cosell. You know what's taken over sports talk? Political talk.
Yeah.
There's more disagreement, whether you like it or not. This is the Get Along Joe hour on so-and-so without any disagreement. And if there is a disagreement, the team's going to call or the manager's going to start to sweat. His whole life, he's been waiting to become a boss. And now some loudmouth may cost me my gig. So you have to be careful, man. If you want to stay in the business or be a get-along Joe, and I can name thousands of them. I can name thousands of them. We don't have time. Okay.
Well, wait. Stephen A. Smith is going to run for. He's going to run for president.
Right.
And I was just Stephen A. Smith, SAS.
Well, I have news for everybody. First of all, I was just voted valedictorian of Princeton University. Okay, so. I mean, that's how ridiculous this whole thing is. I couldn't get out of junior year of high school. I want to debate Stephen A. Smith. After I'm done, without a script, he can't know what we're going to talk about. Because then
he's going to run for president. He's going to run for president because he's famous.
Look, if he does, good for him. At least he's got enough sack to do it. My deal is that it's not a serious thing. I don't think he wants to take the pay cut. And he'd get beat anyway. His polling tells him that. But he's a name, and that's what matters to where he works. I've been there. It's about the name, about establishing the name, trying to keep it alive, being a little controversial. That's the way it is right now.
You know what's funny, Mike? You and I never try to be controversial. The truth
No, I was like on the corner.
Mike, do you agree? I tell people this all the time. Truth is controversial.
100%. I don't even have, and you know me, I've always had to come back with you. I'm back.
Truth, right?
Yeah. TRUPH.
People would rather be lied to in life because it makes you feel better than tell the truth. Because the truth makes you uncomfortable.
They want applause. They want applause by their own people. Look, even at my lowest, even then, when it was my birthday, my whole family was there clapping.
Well, that you made it?
Made some of them of yourself, but they're always going to be there to clap for you. It's the other people that will turn on you in a heartbeat. They'll turn on you in a heartbeat, the other people. That's it. Hey, if you're waiting for the phone, call. I got a better chance of getting a call from Magic Kids Rug Cleaning. Okay? Come on.
Oh, man. Mike, I
got one. It's a crazy life. It's a beautiful life. God bless America. We wouldn't be where we are without this. Look how much fun this is.
Absolutely.
You know why I made the dough? Because I didn't worry about making the dough.
Right.
I said, this is what I've been doing since I was 10, and I'm going to go out this way too. Going to talk the talk.
Mike, I have a guy who's going to be one of the most expensive nil guys in all of college sports. Do you know who that guy's going to be?
Trinidad?
No, guess who? Charlie Woods just signed with Florida State to play golf.
Oh.
Do you know the money that kid is going to generate between Rolex, American Express? That's Tiger's kid.
Right.
And he's pretty decent. He's going to make if Arch Manning makes $7 million or $6 million, this guy's going to make $12 million as a golfer at FSU.
I pray to God that he comes through. He won't be his dad. I hope he learns things. I wish him nothing but the best. He will leave Florida State eventually. He won't go for 4 years, I don't believe. Maybe he will.
He's pretty good too, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I'm not taking anything. But if you don't win, we'll get tired of you. You get tired. Not today. You got to go all the way if you're going to get promoted that way. I'll give you Zion Williamson. He was promoted like he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I watch him. Okay, come down to the beach. Come down to the beach and play too. I mean, that's what he looks like. I mean, he's got tremendous moves. Good ball player, but I don't see the star power that everybody predicted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is going to be an enormous story. Mike, pitchers and catchers the other day. What do you got in store for the Cubbies, man? Cubbies going to go back to the playoffs? By the way, I think the Cubs and the Phillies are a lot alike. They're going to kind of try to roll it back.
I got to be honest with you. That I saw the totals, and I was on ESPN 1000 today. Check out the Odds Couple podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I was on today, and I heard the over-under for wins was 88. And the first thing that struck me, I asked 4 people, what do you think of the total? I asked my brother, Danny. I asked my nephew, Scotty. I asked my wife, BB. I asked my buddy, Gooch, Jimmy DeJulia. Over. And I know they made some good moves, but I go back to where you had back in the day. You had to have about 3.5 great pitchers or good pitchers to win it all. Okay. Now it's a different ball game. But you want to have 2 to 3 pitchers you can depend on. And Justin Steele, coming back from an injury, being off all last year, that's an issue. Shota, now he's gone from the number 1 or 2 guy down to number 5 because he has become hittable. Matthew Boyd, he's the new Kyle Hendricks, the new professor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have too many question marks, in my opinion, to beat Milwaukee out, because I think Milwaukee has the better manager, and I think Milwaukee's scouting right now is superior. They come up with these guys no matter what. And Christian Yelich is
I can't name, besides Christian Yelich, I can't name a guy on that team. I mean,
right.
Mike, it's like a community college team.
It is. That's how they play the game with their system. And Christian Yelich is a underrated superstar who, because he got injured, lost momentum. But if you look up his stats, and I know Mike Trout's great, but we'll talk about Mike Trout some other day, who's basically the guy that stays home, okay, who I respect for doing that. But even with his individual stats, proves it's a team game. You can't do, and then you lose Shota. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think the Cubs are going to made some lateral moves. They picked up Bregman and they lost Tucker, which is, I think, we got a positive. But that Bregman gets hurt. Is Armstrong in center going to have the same start that he did last year? I'm going to say it's going to be tough. I say that I would take the under right now with the Chicago Cubs.
The Olympics. What's your take on them? Are you an Olympics guy, Mike?
I love the Olympics, but I only love the winter. I love the bobsledding. Okay, I love curling.
I would think a guy like you in Chicago, with all the snow, you'd be all good with this here, man. I mean, Winter Olympics, right?
Well, no, we did with different winter games. Okay, snowball throws, hit the bus and run. You know what I'm saying? Skitching that we used to grab the back bumper on the
No, I love that. I've done that.
Yeah, skitching. The winter games to us a lot different. Don't hit the dry sewer. We used to flip the sewer covers up in the alley, and a car coming would see it. Okay, and it would stop.
This is Chicago Winter Games
Before video games. Well, we had to make up, and we'd wait till the guy got out of the car, and we'd be on the garage roofs and start throwing snowballs at him. That's early '60s. It was a different time. That's
Mike, were you a bad kid when you were growing up? I mean, were you just like a hellraiser when you're there in Chicago?
No, I got away with a lot. Every kid has fun, and sometimes I wasn't a bad kid. I just didn't get good grades. I loved every sport. I loved the sports. We were the guys in the neighborhood that were the athletes. You're surrounded by 5 street gangs. And the only people that nobody messes with, what's that in his hand? And the one gang member goes, I think that's called a baseball glove, to be honest with you. And so we never had an issue, but we had like 18 of us. And they knew that we weren't to be trifled with. I mean, I think you were one of those guys that could be in both. Well, I saw the Philly Godfather thing with you on the motorcycle. I was fearful.
Well, Mike, I'm going to give you a little like behind the curtain here on Big Sills.
I love behind the curtain.
I've been to the White House, and I've also been at a social club.
There you go.
Okay, I mean, I've been to the Bergen Fish and Hunt Club.
Oh,
and I've also been to the White House. So I mean.
Hey,
as Jim McKay would say, spanning the globe is what we used to do. So when I was a kid, I've been everywhere with that.
Yeah, you've been everywhere, man. And the same with me. Been very fortunate getting awards. And this patting myself on the back, because if you don't toot your own horn, Harry James ain't going to do it. So my deal is I've been all over too. And I'm so lucky to be in this business. And I liked it when it was more independent, but I think it's opened it up for so many guys like us that can do good stuff. And we're always battling people.
Mike, the reason that we're still doing it is because everyone today stinks.
Thank you. Well, not everyone. I'm going to go 85%.
85% of the guys on the air today stink. Because you know why? When I tune on a radio station, hey, no disrespect to that 690 thing. You know that 690 station in Chicago? I tuned it on and listened. I thought I was listening to the same guys from 6A to 6P, and it's the same shit it's the same stuff. It's snowball radio, and it's
I'm going to tell you a story. I'm watching not long ago. I'm watching this on TV, and I hate scripted TV. When I see on X, somebody says, hey, we got a script for tonight. We're going to meet at the bar. You got a script? Are you kidding me? Just show up. And
Mike, this is how I do my show. I've got Cliff
Notes. You got to have a look, but you got to have the times and everything down too.
Yeah.
We're not. But my deal is I didn't have any of that, and I just think that when you have, look, there were 3 people, a girl and 2 guys. Not going to name the show, and the term "babe" came up. And one of them, and the girl said, has either one of you ever called your husband babe? I mean, your wife babe? And neither guy They all tensed up like human resources was listening. Okay. And everybody at one time or another has used some sort of slang. Honey, sweetheart, babe, gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful. And this one guy goes, oh no. And the other guy said, oh no, me neither. And I'm going, you're kidding. And then all of a sudden the girl goes, you have never? And they, well, what do you call him? And he said, well, I call her this and I call her that. And the girl says, I like being called babe. But it wasn't really them. They think that, you know, the wrong people are, you got to let guys loose. It's a playground genre. It ain't in the Harvard reading hall. Okay. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's lost its way. That's all. I'm just telling you what I don't have no power to do it. I once did, and it was great.
What do you make of Lisa Felding?
I like her. That was from the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, the chick that does afternoons on WBBM.
Oh, I don't see. You know what? I don't see her. I don't watch local. I very rarely watch the local stations now. Very rarely. I used to love. Look, Rodney Dangerfield's got a joke. Back where I come back, he goes, hey, what do you got coming up? Well, I got a special. But it's not going to give Johnny Carson. It's not going to be on this station. He goes, no, but I'll give you two guesses. Because back then you only had 3 major networks. So Johnny was going to get one right or the other. So that's it. I mean, Lisa, I know of her. Okay. But I haven't watched her for a while. God bless her. That's all I got to say.
Let me say, is there any show in Chicago that you like? Is there any show in sports that you like in Chicago outside of yours?
You mean as far as like podcasting, radio?
No. I'm just talking radio. Is there anybody that you dig that you think is good?
Let me tell you.
Do you like Mitch Rosen?
Do I like Mitch Rosen?
Yeah.
I really don't have an opinion of Mitch. I've dealt with Mitch. You know, I don't have. I'm not going to answer on. I'm working at ESPN 1000. I think they're good guys. I think they're all good guys, and they've been working there a long, long time. I understand the business because I know I've said to certain guys, "How could you say that?" And he goes, and the guy will tell me, "I have nowhere else to go."
Do you like Waddle?
Love Tommy.
Yeah, that's a good show.
I love Tommy. I love Sylvie. I love them all. But you got to remember.
I know those two guys. I like those.
I got Cap. I've known Cap for 35 years. Yeah. This is like a club of guys that have been together for a long time.
Yeah, I like him.
I was the guy that competed against them. Huh. Then I got signed by them, and I was asked to join with them. So it was a dynamic, like, hey, man, we had to fight. Yeah, some of the guys that were there. That was the attitude I thought it was going to be. But I've been there 7 years. And Carmen DeFalco's been working with me. And I have never missed a show. I haven't missed a show in 34 years.
Yeah, I really.
I never missed a show.
What do you think of Mully and them guys?
I haven't listened to them. I see some of their clips. But see, if you work at a station that's got a team, you know, the Cubs are on that team.
Yep, that's right.
Situation. So it's a different ballgame now, man. There's ways to get your point across. My way was more direct. So it's how you get you. Nowadays, you got to tailor it by saying, hey, you know what? They could be better. Instead of saying, like I used to say, they suck and don't believe a word they say. And then that is a lot different than, well, you know, they got to make a couple trades. There's different degrees. I went to the 350th degree. Pizza oven degree, okay? And some guys don't, Dan. They just go for what's not going to get them in trouble with the flagship, wherever that team is. You know.
I completely agree. Mike, we're going to roll here, and I'll tell you what. It is always great catching up with my friend Mike North. We will see you next week, my friend.
Hey.
Please, make sure those Bears don't do anything dumb and leave and go outside of the friendly confines of Illinois. You can't let them get out of Illinois. I don't even want him to get out of Chicago.
I'm with you, but what are you going to do? But at least stay where and look for land in other places too, in Illinois, and try to work a deal. Work a deal.
Get a
That's
deal,
it.
man.
Sit down. I never had an agent. Work the deal.
Absolutely.
Get it done. And if you don't like the deal, walk away.
Hey,
Because
by the way,
they
I
don't
know
want you anyway.
you probably don't like the guy coming on at the bottom of the hour, but Mark Trestman's coming on. He's a friend of mine. And
I
know
have nothing against him.
He coached the Bears a little bit.
He'll remember me, I think.
Yeah.
I remember. Look, people had big plans with Mark, period. And it didn't pan out, but he's gone on to other things, Canada. Yep. He's been a good coach. He's been like an innovator. But some things, look, there's the Bobby Beathards of the world and the Trestmans and the guys that are the coordinators or some innovators. So I know the whole landscape of football. And you know what? It didn't work in Chicago, but it worked other places. And, you know, he should be proud of his career.
He's right now, he's teaching law at the University of Miami. He was a coach with me.
Where do you go? What, 1 hour a week? What is that?
No. He's a lawyer, actually.
I'm talking about the class load.
Oh, the class.
I know you guys. You got
to remember something about Miami. Okay, just because I went there doesn't mean I was supposed to go there. Like, could I have gotten into that place as a student? Are you crazy? It's 19% acceptance rate. Yeah. I'm not getting into a place. I'm a junior college guy. I'm not a school like that. It just so happens I could play football.
Yeah, God bless.
Dance at Miami. Yeah. Hey, you know it's a really hard school to get into? No, I didn't.
How great a life. How fortunate we are.
Yeah.
You know what? The less time you got left, you could be 10 years. When you get to be our age, you wish you would have maybe been more philosophical.
Mike, I was recruited to Yale. Okay, because I'm from Connecticut. Does that mean I got into Yale? No. I'm just saying.
I got a GED. You're talking to the choir. I'm on GED. I tried to hang it. They said, just put it in the drawer. Just put it in the drawer.
Yeah, just put it in the drawer. Mike, we'll catch you next week, my friend.
I'll see you, pal.
You got it. Yeah, I appreciate you very much. That is Mike North. Love talking sports with my friend. We do that weekly here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Hey, Sue, what? Wait, Yale? Yes. There was a guy, Carm Koza. Hey, Yale, look this name up. Carm Koza. I think he was the head coach of Yale. He came down to my school, and he goes, how'd you like to be football at Yale? And I go, oh, yeah. I go, my grades are mediocre. No, we'll get you in. And I'm going, no, listen, you're not getting me in. I had like a 2.5 or some shit. I was pretty good on my boards, but it was like nothing like. So he sits down, he goes, we can get you grants. We don't really give scholarships. You wouldn't have to pay. And I go, wait a minute. You're going to get me into Yale. He goes, yeah. Rich Diana was a player that I made a all-state team with Rich Diana. And Rich Diana played in Connecticut. He's a Connecticut star. And he goes, listen, I'm going to Yale. You should come with me. And I'm like, bro, me and Yale? Yeah, no. I mean, I love New Haven. I did. New Haven and pizza and all that shit. But they recruited me to go. And I was like, listen. He came down. I remember he took me to lunch. And he goes, listen, we can try to get you in if you want. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. No, I didn't believe it. I thought somebody was pulling a joke on me until Carm Koza. Is that his name? Let me look. Head coach, Yale. Carmine Koza. Was that? Yeah. Carmen Koza. He was the winningest Ivy League coach of all time. Yeah. What year did he leave? So in 81, they were 9-1. I remember this. They were 8-1, 8-2, 9-1. Funny, 82. I would have went there. They were 4-6. So yeah, and his last year was 96. I don't know if he's still alive. No, he died. He died day after my birthday, January 3rd, January 4th. He died in New Haven. He was 87. Oh, I didn't know he coached at Miami, Ohio. He must have coached with Woody Hayes and Eric Parsegian. That's what it was. Because Eric Parsegian and those guys were knew of Woody Hayes too. He coached with Woody Hayes and Eric Parsegian. Yeah. And those guys were recruiting me. I'm like, yeah, you got the wrong guy. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Back then, they'd figure a way to get you in. Been around athletes my whole life. I know guys who got scholarships who could barely spell their own names. Dude, they did. They came down and they go, because Yale gets to put in their Yale and Harvard and Dartmouth and all them schools. Dude, their acceptance, they accept who they want to accept. Okay, they accept who they want to. Miami of Ohio was a huge, I think Bo Schembechler, I think Bo coached there as well back in the day. And I think he was on Woody's staff. I think Woody got to Ohio State. I wanted to play for Woody Hayes. And Kyle, I was the guy I wanted to play for my entire high school was Woody Hayes. And when I was younger, then he hit that player at Clemson. And when he got fired, they hired, I think, Earl Bruce. So I took my recruiting trip to Ohio State. And I went there. Man, I hated Earl Bruce. But Chris Spielman was there. And Chris Spielman made the Gatorade like he was on a box of Wheaties. And I've been friends with Chris Spielman since we were teenagers. And he goes, Sills, you got to come to Ohio State. I said, man, I can't stand this guy. This guy doesn't look like a great coach. He goes, Earl is a great guy. So I go in and you go around and they took me to, here's what happened on my recruiting trip. Sue, this is so Dan. So they got a place there called High Street. Goes right down the middle of campus. And they had a bar at the time back in the day called the Mine Shaft. This is my recruiting trip. Jim Lachey took me around and Mike Tomczak. So they take me around on my recruiting trip. I get fucking wasted. I mean, these guys, I'm drinking shots with these guys. I am drunk as a skunk. We go to the mine shaft. I fall down the steps. I must have fell down 20 steps. I get to the bottom. I'm cut up on my arm. We're in there. I'm like, I think I may have not. I knocked a guy out in Minnesota on my Minnesota Gophers trip. I don't even know how I got to Minnesota. Don't ask me, but it was Lou Holtz. So I went to Minnesota on a recruiting trip. Oh, I know why. It was for wrestling too. And so I got there and they go, Coach Earl Bruce wants to see you. So I go in. I go in, I'm sitting in front of him, and he goes, I hear you got into a little fight last night. We don't tolerate that shit here. And I go, I understand, Coach. And he goes, I hear you wanted to play for Woody. I go, I did. He goes, well, I'm different than Woody. And I already knew right then, I said, I had no chance of coming here. I would have no interest in it. So he goes, what do you think of coming to Ohio State, playing for the Buckeyes? I go, yeah, well, I'm going to Notre Dame next week. And he goes, you're going to Notre Dame on a recruiting trip? He goes, well, why don't you sign now with us? And I go, yeah, no, I'm going to go. Then he goes, where are you going after that? I go, Miami. And then I'm going to Maryland. And he goes, well, I mean, good luck to you. I said, Coach, good luck to you. I got up, walked out. Yeah, I didn't think anything of him. I didn't. Seals going to Notre Dame would have been interesting too. Yeah, no, I told you the story, Jimbo. I walk in there, and Jerry Fouts is taking me around. Where are the chicks? They're at St. Mary's. What do you mean? This is a dude school? Well, no, they're at the time they had them separated. I go, hang on here. There's no chicks at Notre Dame? No chicks, no Dan. I don't go to dude schools. I don't go to bars with dudes. Dudes don't cut my hair, and I ain't going to an all-guy school. That ain't happening. No way, man. No. Yeah. Where are the girls? No girls? Rules. I don't go to schools with only dudes, and I don't go to bars with only dudes, and guys don't cut my hair. Not happening. Sills, how was it? It was a good trip until like, so I and by the way, I made up before he passed away with Jerry Fouts. And, by the way, it was really bad for a while. My recruiting trip to Notre Dame was pretty cool. But again, guys, I had gone to Catholic schools my whole life. And I was like, yeah, no. I had to wear a tie to school. I couldn't wear sneakers. I couldn't wear jeans, all that shit. I mean, my aunt went to the same school, Stanford Catholic. Back then, though, they wore uniforms. We didn't really have to wear uniforms, but for like 1 week, I think we had to wear jackets. And we had to wear a jacket for a week with the Catholic High emblem on it. So I think it was 1 week of the month we had to do that when Bishop Curtis came down. Bishop Curtis would come down. We had to wear our jackets and our ties when he came down. So, yeah. I think his name was Bishop Walter Curtis. So the recruiting trip was great. But, so we went to, I met Digger Phelps. We went to a basketball game. I think they were playing the University of Houston. It was a big game. And I remember sitting there. It was a fun-ass time. So, I met Digger. And right after the game, Jerry Fouts goes, jump up. I hear you can dunk a basketball. I said, I can't dunk a basketball, but I can dunk a Nerf ball. So they had one of the football Nerf balls. And I jumped up and I slammed it. And the guy goes, damn, pretty impressive. You probably play when you're a junior. And when he said that, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm out. He goes, what do you mean? I go, this is Notre Dame. I go, Coach, you were 7-5. I'm going to start my freshman year. I'm going to play my freshman year. And I did at Maryland. I was a backup defensive tackle. I played. I was on the varsity team. I played every game. And so he's just telling me, like, I wasn't going to play. And I'm like, yeah, no, well, I'm not coming here. I'm not sitting fucking 2 years and not playing because you think it's Notre Dame. No way. So my junior year, when we beat them 58-7, and we crushed them 58-7. I remember going across the field going, I thought you told me I wasn't going to play until I was a junior. And the guy, he's walking off the field. We freaking waxed that team. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was his final game, and we sent him into retirement. Not the biggest loss in the history. That's right. Touchdown, Jesus took a knee. I got hammered for that. So years later, like before he passed away, he goes, hey, I'd like to apologize. And I'm like, Coach, you don't have to apologize to me. I was an asshole when I was a kid. I was very difficult to handle. I really was. Ask my aunt. I barely could be approached at the time. I wasn't a very approachable person. Okay, I was a good dude, but it wasn't like that. I was a lot different as a kid. Angry kind of guy. And so I told him, I go, it's all good, Coach. I was a jerk. I'm sorry I was that way because who knows what would happen if I would have went to Notre Dame. I probably would have enjoyed it. I know a lot of kids, Hiawatha DeFrancisco and I made an All-American team together. And we went, I forget where it was in New Jersey. His brother also was on that, but Hiawatha made an All-American team with me. And he was one of the really great players. I don't know if you guys ever heard that name, Hiawatha DeFrancisco. I think he played at Moeller. And all those guys at Moeller High obviously played for him. But yeah, I think he was ranked. I think I was ranked in the top 100. I think I was 25th. I think Hiawatha was 3rd. So I think out of all, like the top 100 recruits in the country, I think I was 25th. And I think he was 3rd. So yeah, and we played in the big three, the Big 33 game. So yeah, I I remember him. He was really just a great dude. Do you find it interesting that the Eagles are risk averse when it comes to Jalen, but not in? That's a great take. No, I wasn't a bully, dude. That's not what I was. Wasn't a bully. Just not, approachable like I am now. There's nothing wrong with being. I really wasn't a bully. I didn't bully people. I actually bully bullies. Okay, like if you were being a dick to some guy that couldn't defend himself, I would kick that guy's ass. So that's kind of what I was. If I saw somebody pushing somebody around that couldn't defend himself, I'd kick that guy's ass. So that mean that try that on me. I was a different dude back then. My wife saw me beat 5 guys up at a bar once. And so, I 5 guys at a gym once. I beat 5 guys at one time up. The media was giving Jimmy Johnson shit for that win on Notre Dame. I don't blame Jimmy at all. Notre Dame blew out. Yeah. Interior opponents. All that was the big thing back in the day, Jimbo, back in the day, the big problem was that Notre Dame used to kick the shit out of us 77-0. Like in the 70s and in the late 60s, they were beating Miami 78-0. And nobody had a problem then. And when we waxed them like we did, all those former players came back, like Chuck Foreman and Eddie Williams and all them guys, O.J. Anderson, who played against those teams. They would get killed by Notre Dame. Nobody had a problem when Arrow was kicking the shit out of us. They would beat us up. So the 2 games that we were involved with, we beat them, what was it? 58-7, and we beat them 24-0. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got to do my Miami math. We beat them 82-7. Those Notre Dame games were never games. They were never competitive. Shoes, you remember Wisniewski, who played against you in the Fiesta Bowl. His nephew was an old lineman on the 17 team. Steve Wisniewski and I became great friends. You know how? Get this. I played against him. I had 11 tackles and a sack in that game. And like 2-3 tackles for losses. And Steve was a great player. And he went on to really great things in the NFL. Played for the Raiders. I'm on the air one time, and I'm talking about the Fiesta Bowl. Steve Wisniewski calls in. Sills invited me to his house. We became friends. But after the game, Kyle, you'll love this. So as the game was ending, he's sitting there looking at me, and we killed that team. Steve Wisniewski was the guy that went like this to me. We beat the beast. Look at him. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Steve Wisniewski. I'm like, you didn't do shit on me, guy. He goes, we beat you guys. Eat it. And I went like this, dude. And I said, mother, you know what? And I go, motherfucker, I kicked your ass up and down this field and you know it. He goes, well, I'll be wearing the ring. Man, I hated him. I had to shake his hand, though. So I shook his hand after the game, and I don't like shaking hands. And we kind of were walking off the field, and he goes, thanks for doing that. And I didn't see him for about 10, 15 years. Well, no, 87 too. I probably didn't see him for another 10 years. And we had dinner over his house, and we kind of like forged a great friendship. And to like this day, we're friends. A lot of those Penn State guys, Shane Conlon was on that team. He was a friend. By the way, guys, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Mark Trestman. You guys want to know if this is going to be a seamless transition? We're going to have a class on the West Coast offense and how you install a new offense and all the things that the Eagles are going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to get Mark Trestman on. I told you this at the bottom here. Let me get this here with Mark. So, Mark Trestman. I want to see how many offensive coordinator jobs he's had. Obviously, former coach of the Bears. So, let's see. Miami, 1. Cleveland Browns, 2. These are offensive coordinating jobs. 49ers, 3. Cardinals, 4. Saints, 5. Ravens, 6. And right now he's a senior offensive assistant for the Los Angeles Chargers still. So he still works as a senior assistant right now for the Chargers. So he really can't talk about other teams, okay, because he works for he works for the Chargers. So as I remember Pat Hayden taking a ton of shit on Jimmy Johnson for the Notre Dame win. I'm an ND fan. Oh, he came out and said we were everything that was wrong with college football. And I was like, really? We're everything that's wrong with college football. We're everything that's right with college football. Let's see. Sills, look this guy up. Norman Wildman Wiley. You played against your uncle. He recorded 17 sacks in one game in 52. I met him in Delaware. I absolutely will. I love them old school names. Rather go to Sileo Troll School. That'll make me more money. Sills, how many rings does he have? Are you talking Wisniewski? He's got 1 national title ring with Penn State. I don't think he's got I think he went to an AFC championship game. He was a great player. But he should be in the Hall of Fame. Steve Wisniewski. Wiz is a great football player, man. I think he's a PA. No, he's a Vermont guy. But I thought he was raised in PA. I thought he went to a high school like in because he went to Penn State. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Actually, he's an 8-time Pro Bowler. Steve Wisniewski is an 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team, and he played his entire career with the Raiders from 89 until 2001. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's got more Pro Bowls than Lane Johnson. And he played left guard. So, I mean, this guy's got more Pro Bowls than Lane. I mean, he was just a great player. Yeah, we're going to get Mark Trestman on here in a couple minutes, and we're going to talk some West Coast football. And Mark doesn't really think that there's really any West Coast teams any longer. Like, he doesn't believe the West Coast offense. There's any team in the NFL that has a West Coast offense. So he's going to, tell you that. Now, this is going to be a new version. Okay, so I mean, what you guys were saying earlier, and maybe the last couple days, that the new version of what they're going to install, okay? Let me double check to make sure. Jesus Christ. Zoom, dude. Zoom. Okay? You can log in now. See if we can bring them up now. You can log in now. The old guys. Yeah. I'm sure Xander sent the link. So let's see if we can get him up here now. Let me tell you this, man. This dude is a savant with the offenses. Says, I love the show and your takes. I agree with most. Your stories are awesome. Please. Hey, absolutely, man. I mean, we love telling them stories too. Hey, Xander, can you please send the link? I'll see if to send the trash. Check your trash. If not, we'll resend. We will resend. Big Z, we sent. Okay, I'm gonna send this to Xander. Sorry, guys. Z's done this. I already know. Here we go. I'm very sure that he sent it, but yeah, Mark Trestman's going to join us here in a second. So hopefully he can figure this out. Did you get the link? Sorry, guys. I did send it. I'm working with it. Okay. I know you did, Z. I know you did. So we're hanging in there a little bit here. Guys, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Yo, Sills is good at pushes with buttons until knives come out. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Right. Dan, do you find it interesting? Yeah, dude. Intern, I appreciate that. Yes. Yes, I completely agree. Let's see here. See if we can bring him up. Sorry, guys. He's having a little issue. See if we can get it up here. Thank you. There's another guy. I had another guy the other day on the weekend show. You should have seen some of this stuff. It was a nightmare to try to get these guys up. Crazy. You know, guys, I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to, because what's with the big conversation in Philadelphia has been they're going to make a transition from what they were doing before to more spread offense. So you know what I sent my friend Mark Trestman? I go, Mark, they want to go to a West Coast offense. You know what Mark told me? There's no West Coast offense. And I go, wait a minute here. I played against Bill Walsh's West Coast. No. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to have a guy who's been a coordinator in the NFL, I believe, at least 6 times. He's a former NFL head coach. By the way, the reason he couldn't come on yesterday because he's a professor of law at the University of Miami. So without further ado, we bring in our friend, Mark Trestman. He's not only a friend, he's a dear friend of mine, to give us a little bit of education here on it. How you doing, friend? How's it going, man? How's that class teaching law at UN going?
Well, I'm not teaching law. I'm teaching leadership, or trying to, but I'm learning more from our students than I think that they're learning from me, Dan. It's good to be with you.
You bet. Mark, I want you to help me out here on something, because everyone this last week, because they're going to go from a different offense, and because you've built offenses for quarterbacks. So let me start from the beginning, and let me start from the infancy of how you build an offense. When you're making a transition from one style of play, like the Eagles have been doing for the last couple of years, the reports are, and especially with the hires that they've made, they want to go to a more spread offense. How difficult is that, and what does it need to be taken by the new OC? Sean Mannion has been hired. They're bringing a very relatively young guy down. What is, and how do you start that process?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if you talk to Bill Walsh, he would tell you that he didn't create the name West Coast offense. Somebody else did. It's a perception and really not a reality, but that's what they called it when he was coaching in San Francisco in the late 80s, and they won the Super Bowls and so forth. And he brought offenses in from Coach Brown with Cincinnati, and a lot of the great coaches in that period of time. And he put together an offense that he thought best suited his quarterback, which was to play under center, to have a really good running game, play action and movement game, and used the drop back passing game, as a part of really the dance of the quarterback, 3, 5, and 7-step drops. And that's all over the years. That went to Mike Holmgren, and Mike Holmgren took on the offense, and then he won a Super Bowl, went to Seattle and so forth, that turned it over to Mike Shanahan, and Mike put his own spin on it in San Francisco. And then I came in there and really learned the West Coast offense, or Bill Walsh's offense, by watching, literally sitting in a hotel room for my first month with the 49ers, just to give you a little background, and watch tape of Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren, and Mike Shanahan installing the offense at that time. And then Mike moved on to Denver with Gary Kubiak, and things begin to happen. And then Mike Shanahan's son and Mike LaFleur, and everything just kind of grows, and trees grow, and limbs grow, and styles of play grow. So I don't know what a spread offense is. Does that mean they're in 4 wideouts, 3 wideouts? I'm not sure what all that means. I think that, what you're seeing more and more in the NFL is you're seeing the quarterback under center about 35 to 40% of the time. The gun a little over 50%. I mean, if you're looking at Sean McVay, you're going to be in 3 wides, a tight end and a back. If you look at other places, they might be more in 2 tight ends, 2 wides and a back. And some teams are more stacks and bunches. Other teams are more spread out. Everybody's running motions and different kinds of movements to try to, create some communication issues on the defensive side. It's noisy. They got to make calls. They're signaling and so on and so forth. So the number one thing I look and changes offense is the coordinator and the line coach have to do one thing. They got to get the quarterback to be able to complete a throwing motion. And the whole science of the game of football is protecting the quarterback. That's the number one science. And that is, they have to be hip to hip, not only in how they're going to protect him, but they have to be hip to hip in how they're going to run the ball.
How about this? They just made a change. They fired legendary coach, or he walked out, legendary coach Jeff Stoutland. Now, they bring in this new young guy, and they bring in a new offensive coordinator. Mark, if you were coming into a place, because a lot of coordinators seemingly turned down the Eagle job at the time, and all of a sudden Stoutland leaves when he wasn't given run game coordinating responsibilities. They just wanted him to coach the O-line. Is that essential for you to have your style of offensive line coach? Because this is a big contention in Philadelphia right now. Why did he walk out of the building? Do you think the offensive coordinator went, hey, listen, if we're going to run the style you want to run, we need a run game guy that fits what my style of offense is going to look like? Not every offensive line coach is going to be in line with one another. Am I on pace here, or am I off?
Well, I think that I'm not going to create a hypothetical on what Sean Mannion said. I think Jeff Stoutland is one of the top 2 or 3 line coaches. I look at him. I look at Bill Callahan, 2 of the best line coaches, in the game. So, Coach Stoutland, and I don't know him at all. Never met him. Just watch the tape and know that he's a great football coach. And having been in Philadelphia for over a decade, so or thereabouts. So, I mean, there could have been just a parting of the ways, that the system coming in, wasn't a fit, and instead of trying to put a square peg in a round hole, so to speak, that Coach Stoutland decided to leave, and the Eagle brain trust decided that they were going to bring in somebody, and they brought in Coach Cooper from the Vikings, again, who's part of that Sean McVay style of run, style of pass. And no matter what, the offensive coordinator and play caller has to be hip to hip with the line coach. If they're not on the same page in how they're going to protect the quarterback and how they're going to run the football, it's a hard life for the coordinator. Because I've been in situations where I came in and was the mercenary and had to keep a staff. That's very, very difficult at times if there isn't this ability to mesh with the style of how they protect, number one, and how they're going to run the ball.
I think that's great insight. So, again, I'm not asking you to sit here and cast aspersions on what was said in that meeting. However, for you, though, for you to feel that you would be more successful, you would want to have a little say on the guy that was coming in, because that's exactly what happened in Philadelphia. What they did was, they brought in a guy. They're trying to get, as a matter of fact, there's even word this past year that after week 8, that Nick Sirianni ended up taking over along with Kevin Patullo more of the run game situation. And so this year, maybe they wanted to go in a different direction because, again, Mark, when you're going to hire a new coordinator, You got to get your type of coaches in there. Like you said, you don't want to inherit a staff. They've hired 5 new guys for a reason, right?
Right. So, coming in there and knowing, I mean, I've got a decorated offensive line coach and I don't know him at all. If I didn't even know him, and we can't speculate here,
Sure.
but nobody knows that Nick Sirianni didn't sit down with Sean Mannion and Coach Stoutland and say, how can we make this work? This is what we need. I mean, to come in as a young coach and mandate that we're going to get this decorated veteran who's got Super Bowl rings on his finger, and we want him out so we can bring in a guy who's really never coached the offensive line for more than 2 years. I mean, this is a tough league, and this is a very young staff. They've got Nick Sirianni there, who's got the experience and the background as a play call to kind of oversee it and watch it. I mean, this had to be a big part of this because, I mean, I was a 30-year-old coordinator in the NFL, and I didn't know that I didn't know. And you can say where they're from is great, and they're going to bring this offense, but that doesn't mean the science behind of what they know has been embedded and ingrained in their minds. So having Nick Sirianni there to kind of be the checks and balances, I think, is probably a reason why they went this way. They're bringing an offense in, but just bringing the playbook in doesn't mean you could go in each day and coach the science of the game, both protection-wise, quarterback-wise, progression drops, and read-wise. I mean, there's a lot going on, and you've been coaching for 2 years, and you've never stood in front of a team week in and week out, day in and day out, and had to install with precision and with competency the plays that are going in, because these players aren't foolish. They're going to look for 2 things, and the first is they want competency. They want a guy who can come in there and master their craft, and I got to believe Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni know what they're doing. I'm not going to try to judge that. They believe that these 3 guys, Grizzard and Mannion and Cooper, can come in here with Nick kind of as, I'm just speculating, with Nick kind of overseeing it because of his competency as a head coach, play caller, decorated Super Bowl winning coach, that they can find a way to build some chemistry amidst the other side of it, which is very, very little experience.
How about this too, Mark? When you come in and you're looking to make these type of changes and you're going from run first style to maybe trying to be a little bit more balanced, how much does the personnel then play when you come in and you're installing an offense there? I mean, when I look at, say, Sean McVay's offensive personnel and I look at the Eagles personnel, that looks more like, and I use the word finesse with respect to the Sean McVay style of spreading the ball around, and I watch run first over here with the Eagles. It's more a dominant point of attack. It's trying to get the ball established in the run game. It's really not a high complex offense, a lot of slants, a lot of throwing to the numbers. For you, I mean, how much does personnel come in where you go, does the personnel fit what we're doing, or is that your responsibility to fit the personnel to a boutique offense that you're trying to build?
Yeah, I think that, I've always, when I've talked to scouts, when I've talked to general managers, I always just wanted really good football players. I believe I should be expected to be flexible enough with the offense to be able to use good football players, smart football players, tough football players to build an offense around. So last time I heard Saquon Barkley was the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Is he still the running back?
He's still the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And so I know their run game probably wasn't as productive this year, but the bottom line is when, as a coordinator, if it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, I put the, push tush aside. But if I've got a runner, I'm never wrong running Saquon Barkley on 3rd or 1 or 4th and 1. No matter what you say, you really can't be wrong. That's like, having money in your pocket, because you'll never be second guessed for running Saquon Barkley. But because you have him, your play action, your potential for explosive plays grows dramatically when you're in tighter formations, when you're in bunches, when you're in stacks, when you can unlock receivers with play action and movement. I mean, when it starts with, one of the best, arguably top 2-3 running backs, whatever he is in the National Football League, and you've got a receiver core like that, there's in a tight end like that, there's really, I mean, I can't believe that they're not sitting in, offensive staff room and going, we can make this work. We've got the people and personnel and the quarterback and the leader to make this work. This is not as complex as it has to be, to me, with the level of players. When you've got a 1 and a 2 receiver, you've got a solid tight end, you've got a superstar running back, a quarterback who's won a Super Bowl, a great leader. I mean, there's a lot going. And like I said, I didn't watch every game of the Eagles. I don't know the inner workings of the Eagles, but I do have a lot of respect for the brain trust there.
How about this? So they had 50 under center plays. They were third worst in the league. You're telling me in spread offenses that you would like to see the quarterback under center more. Would that be
I think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see the quarterback. I mean, I'm just speculating. I think you're going to see the quarterback under center 40% of the time. Maybe 45.
That'll go up dramatically. That'll be one of the cosmetic differences that will see.
And that'll help the running game's going to improve. The line, the protection will improve. I mean, that's going to soften up pass rushes. I mean, there's so much that can happen there when you can, and you see these teams are doing it. I mean, Stafford's doing it. Jordan Love's doing it. Goff is doing it. This is not unusual. Justin Herbert's doing it. Sam Darnold's doing it. I mean, that's what you're going to see. And this is extensions of Gary Kubiak too, and what Clint is doing. I mean, Gary Kubiak was under center. This is all a reflection of all that. And I think you will see that. That's what you speculate based on the people that they've hired. But I don't know how they're evaluating Jalen and how they feel that he fits into that. But because of the hires, I think they feel like I feel like they'll be doing that.
Coach, there's a big conversation going on about the quarterback right now. And again, like you say, it's hard to fight the resume and what he's accomplished, but there's a lot of people saying inside the building right now that the reason that they're going for this change is because they think that offense is gone as far as it can go, and they want to evolve it, which means last year they were 28th in passing. This year they were 25th or 6th in passing, and they need to really start to elevate that game a little bit. But the quarterback, he's one of the worst at throwing across the middle of the field. He's predictable on throwing to the numbers. And when you have an offense like this, Coach, you need to spread the ball out. How do you make that work for a quarterback that seemingly at times struggles in progression reading? I heard one thing that Montana said about processing it, and I heard Brady say this. Man, the greatest quarterbacks in pro football are not the guys with the greatest arms. It's the greatest processors, the guys that get back and process the information on what they see on pre-snap reads and where their landmarks are. That was his secret sauce, he said. When a guy's maybe not that skilled at that, but he's just so mobile and he's so gifted as an athlete and others, how do you mesh that?
Well, I think that, I can't speculate on Jalen Hurts. I don't watch it so much, but, I mean, Joe Montana's right. I mean, it starts with functional intelligence, the ability to slow the game down, to be able to see everything. The best quarterbacks have spatial awareness. They kind of know where everybody is on the field, and they know where their linemen are. It's a very unique and sometimes underestimated value that quarterbacks have. Brock Purdy is incredible at spatial awareness of the feel for where people are, because I've watched a lot of him. Justin Herbert's the same way. I watched a lot of him. But it's spatial awareness, functional intelligence, and I think a under center play action game, more movement, minimizes having to progression read everything. And I don't want to say Jalen Hurts can't progression read, and I really don't want to say he can't throw it over the middle. I think that just based on kind of from 30,000 feet, what the Eagles are doing with the hires that they've made and the direction that they've gone, I think like all bets are off. It's going to be real interesting because he's going to have those opportunities to make those throws. And I think, we'll be able to judge him in a different way this year. And I just got to believe that going under center more helps the running game, definitely, helps the play action and movement game, limits drop back passes, particularly on first and second down. where you can do more play action that are tied to the running game and more movement tied to the running game. I think it's going to be an exciting year. And that balanced, again, an incredibly young staff and inexperienced. I mean, you're talking about maybe 6 years between, or 7 years between the three young guys.
Mark, the coordinator's only been a coach for 25 months.
I know. So, I mean, he must have some serious special qualities, but, and I know Nick Sirianni understands this. There is no way. I mean, it's going to be so fascinating to watch every day in practice, every meeting, how he's going to approach the meetings, how they're going to collaborate, how they're going to separate responsibilities in terms of game planning. Who's going to present to the offense? Who's going to run the protection meeting? Because the number one job of any coach and every coach, offensive, defensive, special teams, to me, is protecting the quarterback. So the quarterback's got to be able to complete a throwing motion, and everybody on the team's responsible for that. But ultimately, it's the coordinator and the head coach. He's got to be able to complete a throwing motion. Everything else is taken care of. He can stand in the pocket, and we can find out whether he can read through a progression, which I believe he will be able to do, and make throws over the middle and throw the deep ball. I just think he can do that. I mean, and I think he'll be excited to prove that if he has naysayers who think they can't, and I'm not saying you're a naysayer, I'm not saying, but you've seen what he can do more than I have. It'll be interesting to see, what he'll be able to do with this new offense.
If you're A.J. Brown, are you excited about this?
I would be excited because, number one, if my quarterback's under center and I've got a run and play action game, I'm going to get more single coverage, right? And so the other part of it is, to me, is if you have A.J. Brown on the field, it's your responsibility to get him the ball. I don't care who's playing quarterback and who's the other guys on the team. You have got to get him the ball. And that should start from the first play of the game. And he should not have to wait around for 2 quarters to catch a football. I think that's the obligation of a coordinator and a play caller. And no, none of us are perfect. I certainly wasn't. And I'm not trying to say I was, but it was my intention to get the ball in the hands of playmakers as quickly as I could. The running back's going to get the ball, but it's from a receiver standpoint, how do you get that done? Get him in the slot, motion him, get him in stacks, find ways to cut him loose, and get some free candy store completions, as I would call them.
Okay, I'm going to bring up something Michael Irvin said on play calling, Mark. He said this, he goes, the difference between Norv Turner, and I'm not asking you to dissect both those men, but he was making a point that when Norv Turner was running the pass offense in Dallas with me, the offense in the passing game went through me. When Chan Gailey was running an offense, it was a system. I found myself on the sidelines sometimes on third down, and there's a rookie out there because this guy's trying to run a system. And when Norv goes, you're getting the ball. Chan was more about a system. He goes, there's different types of coordinators. Some guys are going to run, like you just said about AJ, running through one guy versus running a system. What do you think is more effective? Because I think the thing that really AJ got frustrated with the last 2 years, and there's a Super Bowl win inside the last 2 years, is that offense wasn't going through him. So when you say they're going under center more, he's going to get more single coverage, which means to me, if A.J. Brown's getting single coverage, Mark, he's almost undefensible when he gets single coverage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
he's amazing.
Chan Gailey's got a Super Bowl ring too, but I'm more inclined to Norv Turner, and my respect for Michael Irvin, who I happen to personally love, as you all know. But I think that the coordinator's job is to put the ball in the hands of the playmakers. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with sitting in a meeting room with your offense if you've got relationships with the players and say, everybody's going to get the ball in this offense, but it's got to start here. I mean, that's where it starts. It starts with Saquon and starts with A.J. Brown. They got to get touches, and everybody's going to get opportunities to catch the ball. You want to let the players know that you're thinking about them, you care about them, you want them to be productive, but nobody's going to argue that A.J. Brown shouldn't have a priority in getting the football. I don't think anybody in the Eagle organization would argue with that.
third wide receiver in this offense. You tell me what this represents to you. I've added it up. In the Sirianni era, the third wide receiver gets a total combined with all the receivers, 29 catches. Do you think that will elevate when you're talking about a new offense being installed? Because, Mark, if you're going to spread the ball around, the tight end at number 3, I mean, they've got to catch the ball too, because that's traditionally your slot position.
Yeah, I mean, I again, statistically, I can't really comment on that. I mean, everybody's got a chance to be open on every play. Every concept, has a purpose, coverage purpose, player purpose. I don't know whether I can, Dan, I can really add to that. I mean, if the second tight end's better than the third wide receiver, you'd rather have the second tight end on the field. If the second tight end can help you create coverage by alignment, you'd rather have the second tight end on the field, because now you're in a position to even run a better play. So the 29 catches could mean they had a second tight end on the field more than they had a third wide receiver. If you go to LA, they're going to try, in offenses I've been in, we've done both, but a lot of places we were going to be in 3 wides and a tight end and a back. That's how we were going to play the game, because we didn't want to take those 3 guys off the field for even one play. So the value of the third wide receiver depends on what is his value to the team. And if you got a really good third wide receiver that's better than your second tight end, then he ought to be on the field, as long as you have the ability to, put a run game together that can attack a defense with 3 wides on the field, which isn't as easy as it is with 2 tight ends and 2 wides, or 2 backs, a tight end and 2 wides.
I'm going to ask you last question here. How much would you use the ability of the wheels and the dual threat ability in today's NFL? Because it seems to me now, Mark, you have to have guys because of free agency. You lose a lot of guys in the offensive line. You got to have mobility. You see that with your guy, Justin Herbert, who I think is sensational at that. He can move when he has to move. How would you use that more today? Because, back in the day, Bernie Kosar, 3-step drop, 7-step drop, you're winning from the pocket, all of that. You tell me, do you think that, again, you would use that more, the mobility?
Well, this is how I probably 3 steps. The 2 jobs of the quarterback, in my opinion, are to protect the football and to live for the next play. If he doesn't protect the football, you're not going to win. And if he doesn't live for the next play, you're not going to win, because the backups, quarterbacks in this league, based on last year, if they started, they only won like 35% of the games. So the starters have to play. The starters win 50 to 55% of the games. A backup doesn't even come close to 50%, and that's a statistical fact. So the way I look at the NFL today is, if I'm a play caller, in my back pocket, I've got to have a quarterback who can extend for a first down, either with his legs or his arms, at least 3 times a game, to get a first down and continue drives, keep the clock, keep the defense off the field. Dual threat to me is very, very, very scary, because you're putting your entire multi-billion-dollar organization at risk. Because if the number 1 guy goes down, not every place has a guy who can back up and win a Super Bowl like Nick Foles did. That doesn't happen very often, right? But there's quarterbacks that have gotten hurt, and because of it, Purdy played. Quarterbacks got hurt. Because of it, Brady played. Quarterbacks got hurt, and Kurt Warner played. But those are anomalies. Those happen periodically over the history of football. But at the end of the day, dual threat in the NFL, the ability, I don't know, extending a play in the NFL, getting a first down on third down, letting the clock continue to run, that's demoralizing to a defensive coordinator and a defense. When a first down is made and you got exactly the right defensive call on, but the quarterback, beats the pass rush, finds a space, extends with his arm or legs, and finds a way to get a first down. You get 3 of those a game, now all of a sudden you're at 40-some, mid 40% third down conversions as opposed to 39.
I want to sneak this in. Bernie Kosar said something to me when he was on the program last month, and I want to see if you agree with this. Bernie said that technology is really hurting the modern day quarterback. And I was like, what do you mean technology is hurting the modern day quarterback? He goes, well, those bugs in people's ears that the coaches on the sidelines are constantly talking. When I walked to the line of scrimmage, I had to dissect defenses. I didn't have anybody telling me. So what it did was it forced me to read and forced me to understand where my pre-snap is, what I'm looking at. I had to be more of a savant in looking at trying to dissect defenses. He goes, no, don't ever get anybody. I couldn't jump over a stack of quarters. So I had to figure it out. And Bernie's like, these coordinators today, they're in their ear. I know the thing goes off at 15 seconds. What do you make of that take by Bernie that, the guys telling them today where to go, where the guys in the past knew where to go?
Yeah. Well, just a couple of things there to preface it. Bernie Kosar was an anomaly, as you know, within himself. I mean, a true savant. Secondly, he's one of the greatest leaders of men I've ever been around.
Yep.
And sometimes that's misunderstood. He's also, if it wasn't for John Elway, would probably be in the Hall of Fame today because he lost 3 AFC championships games due to the greatness, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in John Elway. So I just want to set the record straight and so I just want your listeners to know that he's been underrated in the history of football, and I think underappreciated because of John Elway's position in Denver. So I don't know. I can't speak for other coordinators. I know this, that the times I've had to say, might be something like, Rich, I got a great play for you. Let's run 358 slammer or kill it to nickel 40. We're in the red zone, no sacks. But I still got to get you to the line of scrimmage between 16 and 20 seconds because now it's your time to run the show. So, I don't know. I mean, I think Bernie's got an opinion that because of who he is and who he was, but a lot of quarterbacks, are not Bernie Kosar for that matter. And he was a literal computer when he walked to the sideline.
Absolutely. Mark, it is always great catching up with you, man. I love talking with you. We could go on forever and ever. Our friendship will always go on, man. I just love the hell out of you, man. Thank you so much, my friend, and we'll catch up again. Thank you again.
Anytime. And looking forward to watching the Eagles. I love their organization, and it's going to be the decisions they made. I mean, they'll be front and center this season. It'll be fun to watch, and I just hope Jalen Hurts has a hell of a season. And A.J. Brown.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Okay. Take care, Dan.
Great Mark Trestman. Very good. Very good stuff there. All right, guys. We appreciate it. Xander, let me take a 30-second here because I want to do a Morgan & Morgan here. Make sure you get this in for us here. Without question, folks, our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason, and it's because they win. Without a doubt, be the easiest decision you make. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FORthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
All right, folks, appreciate you very much. I hope you learned a lesson there with Mark Trestman. That sounded very positive for the upcoming Eagles season. We'll talk more about it on Monday. God bless. Have a great weekend, and we shall see you on the flip side.